The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, June 4th, eve of the weekend, or if you're down under, I suppose it is Saturday morning. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing all right. Looking forward to a couple of days off myself. And I see that I forgot to turn the crickets off. I keep forgetting to do that. Here, I'll turn them off right now so we don't have to hear the crickets on Monday. Just Rumpus telling us how incredibly flat the Earth is. We got Paul Cruikshank. What's up, Paul? Ian Adams. No, I have not changed the intro yet. I'm sorry, guys. Soon. Actually, if I wasn't locked out of my Skype, I could see if the guy's done. The guy. Anyway, we'll figure that out this weekend. YouTube, Matrix Media, Bill G. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. John Watson, page 42. Finished washing the cat. The cat ain't so pleased, she says. Yes, I had to give him his daily bath, so he's all right now. I was only a minute late. Cut me a little bit of slack. Come on. John Watson, Silent Zero. Hello. Scrolling. Oh, Ian Adams and John Watson having a conversation. Dan Morris, second. Enigma, actually, you were third, Dan. Paige was first. Congratulations, Paige. Nice way to close out the week. And Enigma was actually second. Just to make sure the record is correct. Helen Degenerates and Hitch joining. What's up, guys? It's Friday night. Friday night fights. See what goes on. Maybe we'll get some more stories about time travel, or let's see what else could we get out of them tonight. Maybe they'll tell us a story about how we can shift dimensions, or I'm trying to think of other sci-fi plots that are part of the heliocentric model. We'll see what they can come up with to blow our minds. I was thinking all day about this time travel thing and how ridiculous it is. Just my own personal opinion. If your worldview, the result of all of these things you think that you've proven or established scientifically, your theories, if the end result of that is that time travel is possible, I think it's time to really start taking a close look at what you're buying into. I guess time travel could be possible, but the way it's described is it's science fiction. It is science fiction. There's no evidence for it. It's just a result of mathematics, as I understand it. But I did get some IMs from George after the show last night, and he said that it wasn't explained well. So maybe George will give us what he feels is a better explanation on the whole time travel issue. But we'll see. Anyway, let's YouTube say, I saw a time travel vid. Some guy needed to come back from 2036. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, to get an old IBM computer from 1975 because the whole system. What is that guy's name? John something. Yeah, it's a whole internet meme. Anyway, all right. I see Jeremy and C-Stel in the Discord. Let's go say hi. What's going on? Hello.
What's up?
There
I was
you
trying
are.
not to talk first. Some asshole said I'm trying to climb the flat Earth ranks because I talk first every time.
Oh, is that right? Like you're like
that's what gets you high in the ranks of flat Earth is by if you talk first. It's like first comment on a YouTube video. I don't fucking know.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you are pretty high up in the ranks. I wasn't aware there are ranks, but you're pretty high.
I'm probably top 10 at least.
Top 10 flat earther. All right.
Yeah. Top 10.
Cool. Fair enough. So what's going on, man?
Chilling, bro. Chilling.
You in the bathroom right now, or what?
Yeah, what do I got? An echo?
Yeah, I can hear it. It sounds
I
like
gotta
you're in a
clean these.
small room.
I gotta clean these toilets, bro.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
Crypto ain't. I just bought some HODL coin.
Yeah, I heard about that. Is it dipping or what?
I don't know. My man Talkla said he's making like 10, 15 bucks a month or some shit. Or my bad, a day. 10, 15 bucks a day. So
Oh,
I
okay.
just bought the amount that he had. I need 10 bucks a day.
Yeah, fucking
That's
prick
dope.
Elon Musk and his tweets fucking everything up.
He's losing it. Yeah, he's out of control.
Bad enough he comes up with all this SpaceX bullshit. He's got to fuck up
I don't
crypto.
know.
The hell. Also
I
in here
mean,
is.
these people got so much. What's
Oh,
that?
go ahead.
No, he's got so much money. He's playing games with it. It don't even matter. What's if Elon loses $1 billion? That's like us losing like $100 or something. It's like, all right.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got plenty of money for a few lifetimes, for sure.
He ain't worried. Yeah.
No, he's got nothing to worry about. If I always wonder about these guys if they actually are what they say they are, if they're just a front man for something else. Like, maybe Elon gets to play the part, but he's not really in control of anything.
He could just be like a Rothschild puppet or something.
Something like that. Yeah, they're like, okay, this guy's gonna be. We're gonna make this guy the modern day equivalent of Thomas Edison or some shit. We'll use him to push our agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, someone
knows?
they have control over because of narcotics. They can say if you don't play along, you're going down.
What you talking about? Because he smoked weed on
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's?
Yeah, like Joe Rogan too. It's like, hey, we got your wife, we got your kids, we got everything. If you don't play ball, you're gonna go on that show and you're going to say what we want you to say.
If there was a super powerful secret organization that came at me like, yo, if you don't play ball with us, we're gonna take out your whole family. There is nothing like I'd be playing ball right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put my family's lives in jeopardy for anything.
Voltaire said it best. It's dangerous to be right when the government is wrong. And he said that, 320 years ago? He knew what was going to happen.
Probably just the same back then.
Yeah, that's nothing new under the sun. It's the same stuff we're dealing with today. It's the same stuff the Greeks were dealing with. Nothing changes around here.
Just the same recipe. Different
One
day.
generation after the next. It's flat, stationary, it's fixed, it's unmoving. The same problems over and over and over again. People in power using power to advance their agenda.
And the people in power always want more power. Like they're never happy with the power they got or want to lose it. They want to get more power.
Yeah, and because they're afraid if they lose it, someone's going to flex their power on them.
Or if they stop getting power, they're like, shit, we got to keep getting more powerful because other people are getting more powerful, so we got to keep getting more powerful to keep up with that. It's like trying to keep up with the Joneses with power.
Good afternoon, everyone.
What up?
Hey, what's up? We had a couple of people join, Enigma and Rob. What's up, guys?
I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat. What are you doing on a boat, man? Fishing or what?
Nah, I'm just building a stereo, so I won't be talking much.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
I'll
out
just be
around on a
listening.
boat.
No, I'm not on the water. I'm just on a boat.
Okay. You ever heard that song, I'm on a boat? It's one of my favorite songs.
That's why I came in and said I'm on a boat.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
My favorite song with a boat is Down Easter Alexa with Billy Joel.
I don't think I know that song. You a big Billy Joel fan?
Not really.
Not that you want to admit, at least.
He's got a few good songs.
You ever go to his concerts? Doesn't he put on like a bunch of concerts over in New Jersey or something?
He's been to SPAC a couple concert hall near me. I mean, I've never been. I'm not big on concerts, really. Not since like the '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, me either. I used to go to a bunch of concerts when I was younger, but I haven't been to too many lately.
I was at Woodstock '99.
No shit.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, it's right. It was right near me. It was just a couple hours. It was all right. It was. I was ready to leave at the end because you're sleeping in a tent every night. You wake up, it's like 100 million fucking degrees in the tent. The drinking water was had particulates floating in it. So one morning we snuck in vodka because they were checking you at the gate. So I snuck in vodka at water bottles. Woke up the next morning, was like, holy shit, we got nice clean water here, and just started guzzling vodka. It was tragic, yeah.
Hardcore.
I almost
So
threw up.
at that point you just had to keep drinking for the day then, right?
No.
That's gonna be like a joke, like in Mother Russia, we chase our vodka with vodka.
Huh.
You wash your vodka down with more vodka.
Chase vodka with vodka, yeah. I used to drink straight vodka. It's not too bad. I used to drink straight pretty much anything. Anyway, not anymore. I don't drink that much anymore. I get in too much trouble. And I get hungover for like 3 fucking days.
Yeah, I drink Bud Light limes with my wife, so I'm not really doing shots of fucking Jaeger or whatever the kids are doing these days.
Right. Anyway,
fucking Jaeger bombs or Red Bulls and what's that?
Oh yeah, all that shit. Yeah. No, I rarely ever go out to the bar. I can't even remember the last time. What's up with you, Crit? Who you
Not too much.
Who are you feuding with these days?
I got kicked out of the gems.
What did you do?
Said fuck it. Well, they took my. I couldn't post anywhere but in biblical. So they CB was talking shit and said about Crit was been vanquished because I guess the bot wasn't working, so it wouldn't show up, like that where if I was online or not. So I took a screenshot of it, and for some reason, they don't know how to work a Discord because they're stupid, So there was channels I could still post in. I just didn't because I didn't want to tip my hand. So I posted in a bunch of different channels the screenshot. Hey, CB's so stupid. I doubt he'll even find this shit, And sure enough, like all of a sudden I check back and I'm like off the server and so it's like whatever. It's not the first time. I've been kicked off there so many times I lost count. It's like
I left Gems yesterday.
Yeah, I mean that's what really got down to it.
Yeah.
So many people have left, like in the last week. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just leave too. Instead of clicking to go back, because I clicked to go back, and he'll shit talk, before he gives me my perms back, and I'm like, I'm not even interested anymore,
Huh.
It's like I think in my mind I see this guy as like a cutter, and he staves off the day by kicking flat earthers. That's like his version of safe cutting.
Safe cutting? Like
yeah,
like self-harm.
To be wild and get kicked in there. I've seen somebody yesterday said they wanted to rape someone else's dog. So I mean, you got to really be out of fucking control. Hello.
Yeah, the thing is they never apply the rules like fairly. They'll get it where like if I'm going back and forth with someone, we're just taking the piss out of each other, like using the bot to tag each other. Then he'll come in and take my perms away from the bot. So I can't. But the thing is the bot wouldn't track me on the server anymore either because they're stupid. So then the person would post like to have the bot tag me, and the bot wouldn't because I was like invisible.
Huh.
They think they win something by these weird sort of admin perms and these flexes that they do. And that's why Curve left, because they said, "Hey, dude, you just can't randomly, mute and kick people anymore. It's supposed to be some sort of, odd discussion, two-way discussion." So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Oh, I didn't hear Curve left. So you left
Yeah,
the server for
Curve,
good, Jeremy?
Hal, Rizla,
He left like last week, I think. Curve still listens.
that Foolish or whatever his name is, Drez.
Druss is there. He didn't leave.
Oh, okay. I thought someone said he left too. I didn't. I didn't even look. I don't even care.
Druss is there. I listen to him on YouTube. It's much better for my mental health just listening and not interacting because it gets a little crazy in there.
Yeah, I was curious, and it's just I listened twice, and maybe both times was just by chance, but it was completely dead air. No one.
Oh yeah, I was listening today for like 3 hours, dead air. Somebody talked about a boat for about 30 minutes, and other than that, it was like dead air just for hours and hours. Yo, man, you gotta. I don't know.
They got what they wanted. They got their echo chamber, and now there's no one says shit. They've got nothing to talk about.
Sounds like there's a
Well,
they were pretty fair to me. Since I made that complaint to Jim on this show live, they've been pretty fair to me the few times I joined. But yeah, if that happened to me, man, I would, I might not leave permanently, but I would definitely be pissed off and leave for a minute. I got thick skin too. I can get over shit. I'm a humble man. I'll apologize. I'm wrong a lot. I make a lot of claims, man. So I learn a lot, and, but I bring a lot of interesting points too, but he's been pretty fair to me since then. But if they did that to me, yeah, I'd leave too. Probably not permanently.
Well, like I said, you got to be wiling the fuck out to get actually kicked. Like, I don't know what Brett did, but like I said, I've seen some crazy fucking shit in there, and they're still there. So.
Huh. I didn't realize there was a bunch of drama happening in the Flat Earth Debate More server. Interesting.
I mean, I want to stay there. Chemo's my boy. Like, I fuck with Chemo. There's, but it's too crazy. It's way better for your mental health if you just listen, because interacting with them is just gets nuts sometimes.
Yeah, I just jumped in, so I might have missed what you guys were saying, but I did hear you, Jeremy, the other day. Yeah, what's up, guys? But I heard you say yesterday that you left there. I was just wondering, like, what you actually left the server?
Yeah, just a lot. It's just too crazy, man. I find myself yelling at these guys in weird places. Like, my wife don't want me talking to Discord people in the outside my house. Because, like, from 1 minute to the next, you're liable to just start trying to get in and yelling over top of people or something. Like, it's just crazy. So,
yeah, I think overall it's actually kind of weird, because I'm not really feel like I'm feuding with anybody, but yet somehow they just want to go more batshit at Gems. Like, they're looking.
Got rumpus in one ear and my wife in the other.
Well, I've always sort of left Gem server. I mean, when I first joined Gem server way back, years ago, I had joined it, stayed for a couple months, left, and then months later I joined it again, hung out for a month or two and left, and then this third time I just left again. So I've never really been like a long time member there. I've always sort of popped in and then ended up leaving for my own reasons. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely just the level of toxicity, like to be in there, or even to have it like on your rotation, like if you're going to be listening or if you're going to be in there, it's like, it's just exposing to yourself, that to yourself every day. And it's not really getting anywhere. Cause I mean, it's not like usually not a productive discussion. I mean, on rare occasions it is, but like they have a very strong agenda to suppress Flat Earth to the core, ridicule it, pound it into the ground, as much as possible. So it's like, to be in there, I guess you just have to be like a glutton for that, I guess. So you have to somehow, be okay with that, because there's not really very many. It's not like a lot of productive, like flowing conversation where there's like, building happening, where there's like ideas coming in. I mean, sometimes there can be. I feel like in a percentage of the time there can be, but for the most part, it's just going in there and just being battered, basically.
Yeah, there's a certain percentage of people there who they don't care. You can actually present globe proof to them. And if you just say it's flat Earth, they'll argue against it. Like a good example of this, I took that Stephen Hawking's book where he was talking about the time, the history of space, whatever it's called. Just flip to a random page where it's talking about black holes and time. And he started arguing against it.
Yeah, there's definitely people in this arena who are here for different reasons. We've talked about this many times, but some people are just here to bash people. That's their whole purpose. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I can't imagine like spending so much of my time just bashing other people. I found it kind of strange, but whatever.
Well, I see it sometimes like that. Some guys, look, maybe the ones that are, it seems like a lot. It happens on both sides, flat Earth and globe Earth, I suppose. But on the globe Earth side, there's a lot of guys who, it's almost like they are either consciously or unconsciously like gatekeeping for the globe. You know, like let's just say you were the people who lied about it and you wanted to try to crush people that were talking about it. You wanted to try to suppress it. What would you do? You know, so one thing you might do is come in and just bring chaos and name call and, you know, do all that in a way that's just like chronic to where it just disrupts the conversation. So I think some guys are almost in it for that. Like their number one thing is just to suppress this, you know, at every chance they can as much as possible.
Yeah. As soon as you start making any kind of point or you're trying to get, like you say, you're talking to the person one-on-one and it starts breaking through, like Zant, that guy, I've had some good conversations with him. And we took it to a one-on-one call or took it to a different channel. Because there's so many idiots who their full goal is just to disrupt anything I said.
It's very hard to get anything productive done anywhere, I've noticed. So, yeah, there's so many people, you know, you're fighting with 4 or 5 people to get in sometimes, you know, depending on where you are. Even if I'm here, I'm fighting with my own guys trying to get in, you know, like, yo, give someone 2 minutes. Let someone get a 3 back and forths or something at least, like. Fucking crazy, man. It's really tiring.
We were talking actually like in the after show last night, we were talking about like just this idea, the difference between, you know, like more of like a debate, but the word debate is kind of used loosely, but like meaning like the one type of energy where it's like, I'm trying to convince you, you're trying to convince me, where it's more like this, you know, egotistical kind of coercion thing. Someone's trying to twist the other person's arm and then trying to tell them they're stupid and saying that they're the one that's right. You know, just that whole thing, that whole like fighting energy, that's like one mode. And when it's in that, usually the whole room gets into that and everybody gets drawn into it, you know. But then there's like another mode that can happen where like we talked about before, where it's more just like building and sharing ideas and sharing thoughts. To me, that's the one that's way more interesting because then like even Dr. Bob came in this chat last night and at the beginning, Flat Earth came up and he got really angry and there was this, you know, it was like this fighting energy. And then a minute later, like we kind of dispelled that and we ended up talking about other topics. And actually it was awesome. Like he was really cordial and civil the whole time. And we were talking about like, you know, cannabis and a bunch of other stuff. So it's just, you know, that whole like fighting mode is, I don't know, it seems to kind of be something that happens a lot, but
You're talking about cannabis, the rapper?
See, I had that with that. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, my bad. I was just fucking around. Go ahead,
I was
Chris.
going with that dude Nick in chat, and he said I don't understand science. So I just gave my blanket, you know, my canned definition of science. Tell me where you disagree. You know, and we went through it word by word until we finally disagreed on just 2 words. And I'm like, look how close we are, right?
Was one of the words "and"?
No, yeah, it was other things. So I said, let's define other things and move forward. And as soon as he realized that we're not that far apart in our understanding of science, he started calling me an incel, just started making fun because I'm 60, you know, like all the other bullshit. He wouldn't even follow through with his full, he had to deny his own understanding of science just to protect his ego.
Listen, I couldn't
ego
get
is
these
that
guys.
flat earthers don't understand.
I couldn't get these guys to admit that hot air rises the other day. I mean, where do you go from there? You know, I feel like everything's been hashed out enough to where, like, talk time's over. We're not going to get anywhere with words. Like, something's got to be else has to be done in reality for any progress to be made. You're not like talk time's over. We can talk about this forever if you want, but
Can I put something to that, Jeremy?
yeah. What do you got?
Well, all I'm going to say to that is, if everybody got a friend, got an auto level and a water level, and went out and did your own little test, you would find that water creates straight horizontal plane. There's no measured elevation drop.
Well, I mean, that's evident with the micrometer they put on a water level. Like, if you're just doing level, you don't need to make something level to that precise. You want to make something horizontal that precise.
Hey, can I share my screen, Brandon?
Who the fuck would make? Go
Yeah.
ahead. Who the fuck? Real quick though, who the fuck would want to make something that precise with a micrometer? I don't even see a reason for that. Anyways, go ahead, Leaky.
All right, hold on a second. I'm every time I feel like I gotta refigure it out every time I do this.
Well, I definitely agree with what you guys are saying. I mean, in terms of like physical, I mean, I think it'd be awesome if if there was enough funding to be able to do like a massive water level, and be able to draw, have straight lines, like create that water level and then create a straight line that correlates with the water level and then compare that to the earth. I mean, that's similar to like a laser test, but except
Sorry,
you're not using a laser, you're using a physical, some kind of more of a physical measurement with the water level and a straight line up against the earth.
But Gio, that auto level, you actually have to look through it. You can't just put like a camera up to the auto level and get an accurate reading on your grade rod. You have to put your eyeball on that auto level.
Yeah, but how long can you look through an auto level for?
50-meter sections.
How big?
50-meter sections. You do foresight and backsight, you will find there is no 8 inches drop over a mile if you use differential leveling technique.
Yeah, but the methodology for unless you use that double rotting method I've heard Bev talk about, the Globers just say that you're switching up your plumb, and now your horizontal line's not horizontal anymore. So that's another dead end, bro.
No, you need these guys aren't actually putting an auto level to their eyeball. That's the problem. You need to look through the auto level and see how you need to talk to the surveyor in Illinois, not the surveyor from Maine and not Jesse Kozlowski. You need to go and talk to the Illinois surveyor.
That's his name, Illinois surveyor.
Well, it's a surveyor based out of Illinois. Bev has the videos of the Illinois surveyor. So if we could get Bev in here, that would be cool to just show us where these surveying videos are, because you can't play them. You have to watch them on your own time.
Oh, I've watched those. I know what you're talking about. It's like a series that he made on differential leveling. Yeah. Okay. I've watched those. Yeah. Rob, they have a way of we're bending over backwards to try to say, okay, yeah, you're right. In your model, plumb could change from section to section, and it's so slight. Yeah, we would blah blah blah. Yeah. They have
my
improved.
Model.
In my opinion, they have improved that. Not your model. They haven't proved that water is anything but flat and level, or that level is not horizontal. They haven't proven any of that. They just claim it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. They can't prove anything. If they could prove anything, we wouldn't be here right. I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
They think time travel is real. You heard them last night. These are some Santa Claus time traveling Marty McFly motherfuckers. You can't talk no sense. You got to be so disconnected from reality and delusional at that point where I don't know. Nothing's gonna. There's no talking to people like that.
I think time travel might just be the start too, because they got all kinds of theories about other dimensions and the multiverse and all kinds of crazy shit that their mathematics leads to.
Like were cracking on Arwen today. I guess Arwen, I don't know. They were saying Arwen said he got a book from the future or the past. I don't know. I'm like, yo, so we got one guy that thinks time travel is possible. In the meantime, your mainstream pseudoscientists all say that time travel is possible. So,
Yeah.
bullshit.
No, it's a natural extension of their theories. So they have to own it. That's how I understand it. Now, last night we were getting two different explanations. We were getting one that was about the time it takes light to travel to an observer, and that would lead to observers in different locations seeing things happening at different times, but they would physically still obey, the laws of time that we understand. I'm talking to you here, you're talking to me there. There's no difference in the speed time goes by anywhere. The same everywhere. And then there's one where with the spaceship going out and traveling, however far and coming back, and one person experiences 50 years go by and the other experiences 2 seconds go by. That's fucking time travel. That has nothing to do with light being observed differently at different locations. They think you can physically travel through time just by going a certain speed.
That's some fucking yo. Grab the keys to the DeLorean and let's go. Like they're on some Michael J. Fox shit.
No shit. Now they always point to
that's
GPS. And I think someone needs to really deep dive what's going on with GPS, because they're always saying, "Oh no, time dilation is included in GPS." Are they talking about the version where it takes light to travel a certain distance, and observers at different locations receive the light at different times, leading them to see different things? Or are they talking about the spaceship 50 years versus 2 second type of time dilation? It's not clear to me which one they're talking about when they talk about GPS.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, the clock tower.
That was one too, where the wobble, one of the conversations with Curve, that he argued against what the Globe says. Like the Globe says they have to calibrate this GPS because the Earth wobbles, and he's like, no, it doesn't. Start pounding links into the chat, and all they do is like delete them or say you're spamming.
They can't go with the mainstream science. That's why they're so quick to throw Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye and shit under the bus. Because if they started arguing the mainstream things, it'd be over for them.
I haven't heard too much about Earth wobble.
We'd have them double speaking.
What do you mean they think the Earth wobbles? I've heard this a couple times before. I never looked into it.
Yeah,
it's one of their excuses. It's one of their excuses for another debate. You know how they do. You got to hold them to task because they'll use wobble for one excuse and not try and use it for another.
You know the precession, the 75,000 years, where you get the fucking 12 things. What are they called? Constellations rising in different places, or the same place, but it'll be a different constellation over time.
Yeah,
that's what I think. That's what they're talking about. The wobble, the precession. It's like 75,000 years or some shit.
Oh,
the ages. You know how we're in. Yeah, you know how we're in. What are we in right now? Aquarius.
I'll find a good citation.
We're going into Aquarius or something.
No, we're leaving Aquarius. Like Cancer was supposed to be like 200-something thousand years ago, or 2,000 years ago, something. And then we were just in Aquarius, unbeknownst to us, and now it's supposed to be like changing over into Pisces or Virgo or some shit.
Something.
Here's one in the post. The Forbes says humans are causing Earth to wobble even more. I akin this to that American politician who said Guam was going to flip over.
Well, the wobbling is what they use to describe the reason for the precession of the equinoxes. Like basically, at the solstice, the sun is not in the same position every year compared to the fixed stars. It precesses very slowly. It's a 26,000-year cycle. So basically, it's moving backwards through the zodiac. So it would go from it's moving essentially retrograde as it's precessing, and they claim it's because of the wobble of the Earth. Yeah, that's of the globe Earth is what
my reason for that. My reason for that would be the refraction and the sun when it's way far away, you know, and my model how I got the sun centered. So if it goes off to the right some, it only goes off about 6 or 7 degrees, even if it's moving 3 or 4,000 miles to the right. But if it's refracting, then it's not going to line up as much because it's not going to go quite as far to the right, away from the center. So so I guess my model could kind of in a roundabout way explain the freaking wobble.
Listen to this in that link you sent me. Correct. It says an in-depth study conducted by NASA found that humans are responsible for the increasing wobble detected as Earth spins on its axis, like you said. So this is craziness right here.
Yeah, and it's funny too because if you bring a source like NASA, they can't shit talk it because in their eyes, NASA's almost infallible. They're the only ones that ever pulled off a manned spaceflight. How could they be wrong about the wobble?
According to them, with rockets in a vacuum, they could, if there was a big volcano, it could move us a good deal. Even a small volcano, well, no, not a small one, but or like a bunch of big bombs or something. Because you know, in their model, shit can move itself. It doesn't need resistance to go up.
Bro, they say when you jump, if you just one person jumping would move it. It's Newton's first law. Or no, my bad. It's a third law. Whatever. I don't care what it is.
Like, yeah, because in their model, they take, like, okay, on a flat Earth with the sun above moving, the sun is moving, of course. On the globe Earth model, they have to make the Earth spin, and then the sun is essentially stationary to account for that. So what's really happening is that the sun's position, you could call that wobbling. Like, let's say above a flat Earth, the position of the sun at the equinox is in a slightly different position. There's a couple reasons as to why that could be, but it just has to do with the time clock of the sky, the way that the sun is actually moving. But because they have, in their model, they have to invert it and say that the Earth is spinning to account for the movement of the sun. They then have to make the Earth wobbling to make up for that.
And just think if you span that all the way out to the distance of, say, Polaris, how fast does Polaris have to be moving now to keep up with the wobble?
Yeah, no kidding. But you're right. So they have to have the wobble. They have to have the tilt. They have to have the what is it called? It's not the elliptical orbit. They have to have the changing of speed of the Earth as it goes around the sun. What else do they have to have? You know,
on the elliptical orbit. Okay.
Yeah, got the elliptical orbit. They have to have all these different positional things to explain what's so much easier to explain. Just a close local sun moving over, circling above a plane. So any all that has to be represented in their model. So they have to create this convoluted model of this ball spinning around a giant gas thing in weird ways. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yep. They got to keep adding more and more bullshit that they never proved to begin with. And sooner it's going to be a house of cards. It's all just going to collapse. And they'll just present a new model and just say, oh, the old model was wrong. Excuse me. You're like, yeah, excuse you.
Brandon.
Yeah, all those things you mentioned are that's absolutely the case, Brandon. Like the elliptical orbit to account for the fact that the sun is actually, you know, the Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, that it actually, when it expands out, it stops at the Tropic of Capricorn at the winter solstice and then starts making its way back in. So that accounts for the elliptical orbit. The other thing, so all those things you mentioned is absolutely true, that they had to invert that for their heliocentric model. The other thing they had to do, another thing I thought, is just they had to put the planets, quote unquote, at a certain distance. They had to put those all at certain distances. And then, of course, they have to make the stars, you know, an infinite distance away. So those are the other things they have to do. to create because the way that Mars actually moves above us, or Pluto or Neptune, the way that those wandering stars move, in order to make it fit, they had to put them at those distances and then make the elliptical orbits, and then claiming that that's reality, even though all it is just an inverted model.
No, it's reality.
Rumpus, hang on.
Yeah.
I got one question, real quick, Rumpus. What did you plan on doing your test still?
Yeah, still trying to. I had a bit of a scare today. I thought I'd broken my camera, but it's still.
Wow.
I haven't got a. I've got a provisional date. I've told the people who are involved in it, and I haven't released that.
What's the
publicly
date?
yet. Well, I haven't
What's
released
the
it publicly
date?
'cause I
Hey,
haven't-
Rumpus, man. Rumpus, I looked for a video.
Hold on, Brian.
Sorry, go ahead.
Brian,
Sorry.
hold on one second. Why aren't you? What's the big top secret on the date?
Well, I don't want to, but I haven't. There's
Well-
still some things. Oh, Jesus! Can I finish? I haven't quite got all the equipment. I haven't done all the tests of the equipment and the live streaming, and I don't want to say this is going to be the date, and then I find that I haven't. I've got a video producer I've just engaged who's prepared to do it and seems to know his stuff. So that's a big step forward for me because I've been through two. Both of them failed for various reasons, but I now got one that I think is going to work. But I haven't done a run through with him of just a live streaming event, so I want to make sure that works. And then until I've done that trial with him, I'm not going to give out any dates. And also, I've still got to build some of the posts and towers. I've still got to build the thermistor things.
You're building a tower?
Yes, I've already done one. I've already built 130-foot. Well, I'm calling it a tower, a post tube combination, which is 30 feet high. I've done that already. Did that last.
Do you have any pictures of it?
I do indeed. Yes, I got a video of it. I did. I haven't published them though. It's quite impressive. It scared the pants out of me raising it up to 28 feet. I put it like this: within the next 2 weeks, you will be seeing it. Yes.
Why can't we see it now?
It's pretty high, ain't it, Rumpus? 28 feet's a long way. Use
Bloody high.
Like,
It is bloody high. Scared the pants off.
now
me.
you understand when we're talking about like 50 foot of block, earth curve blocking something, or 200 foot. Now you can appreciate the fucking actual amount that 200 really means. It's crazy.
But yeah, it's certainly the raising something up to nearly 30 feet, as I did, and with my pal of mine I had here. That when I'm looking up that from the bottom and then feeling the weight of it, and I'd had it tied down by 4 guy ropes with a collar on it, and just feeling the power and how high it was. It's nearly as high as my house. It was.
Can we get a little sneak preview of it, or?
I do have a couple of videos. I don't have them to hand, I must admit. They're very large as well. They're about, I don't know, a gig.
You can snap a couple pictures of this thing, or nothing.
I do have pictures.
Post a few pics, bro. Post a few pics. Come on.
I don't think I'll do it now. I'm afraid. I might. I will do it within the next. I will do it within the next week or so, Jeremy. I've done this trial. Because I don't want to do this. I don't want to find I haven't. For instance, I've also got to worry about whether or not the lens I've got on my camera is good enough to see a 5-foot square clearly at 6 miles. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, and I may have to go and buy a telescope lens for my camera.
No, a good camera works better than a telescope. You'd have to buy a really big telescope. But hey, real quick, you said that Jesse made a video mentioning me with the surveying in Florida, and I couldn't find it. I don't know what you're talking
I never said that he mentioned you.
I think that was
well, he mentioned
B-ball. B-ball or Ruhif.
No, it was Rumpus, but maybe he didn't mention me. But he said a video, a survey, a Florida survey.
Brian. It's not a video, Brian. It's like a slideshow.
Where can I find it at?
I've posted it. I've tagged you in it several times, but I'll post it again for you.
What do you mean tag me?
If you post a video, Brian, and you put in the hashtag.
No, it's not a video.
Oh, sorry.
I'll post it again. You know when you tag somebody in the chat, put their name.
Like tag, you're it.
Yeah.
You're it.
Okay, yeah, I'm in Discord. I'm not in chat. Is there any way to DM me or something?
Yeah, well, if you get notification, unless you've got it turned off, that could be
For God's sake, DM him, otherwise you'll never get it.
No, if you go ahead and put it in chat, I'll dig it up later after the show. I'll do that. I just look for it.
Well, you might as well DM you, otherwise you have to search for it.
Rumpus, that wasn't you who told me that?
No, it wasn't. No.
All right, sorry.
It was obviously Earth is Life or B-Ball. His normal name.
Hey, Brandon, I was having trouble posting a video. Plus, it would have been small. Me post.
Yeah.
Can I post a video? In general, it's like it's not even 2 minutes. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds, and it doesn't require volume. Can I put that in general and you play it? It's shows the horizon marked off for the Felix Baumgartner jump.
Yeah. Put it out there.
By the way,
Well,
Brandon, you were expressing.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to read these, and then we can go to you.
Okay, just a quickie, for 10 seconds. You seem to be confused because Gleam had said something about the length of time it takes for sun to get to the light, as though that was on the globe side. Absolutely not. That was just Gleam's idiocy about that being something to do with relativity. It's absolutely not. That's just a normal speed of light thing. The fact that time changes as you're going along, it is the relativistic effect, which is what I was talking about, and who was with me on that? Whoever was talking with me, Professor Phil and
I feel like this time. Oh, my bad. I thought you were not.
No, go ahead. No, I'd sort of.
You're just rambling on. We don't want to hear
I was trying to remember the name of the guy. That was all. So you can carry on.
Yeah, I feel like this time. Go ahead.
I just got to read these. JQ, $5. They have a bigger problem when it comes to the clocks because movement is also relative in their model. So which clock is moving relative to the other?
Oh, that's on that wobble thing, right?
No, that's about the time travel stuff.
No, I feel like this time travel thing is like Coriolis, where they say that the thing's curving, but it's actually going straight. I don't know. It's like a visual thing. It's like a visual thing, you know?
No, it's not. GPS uses it.
I sure hope we don't go down that road again, but if we do, we do. But Brandon, I posted that in general. Like it winds up being I think 1 minute and 30 seconds. It doesn't really require.
I'll open it in a minute. So, second one from JQ. Answer: both. So each clock is ticking slower than the other depending on which you pick. Welcome to the twin clock paradox of special relativity.
By the way, it's not time travel. You seem to be thinking no, it's not. It just means that for the person going, no one has gone into the future, for instance, in the example I gave. You have someone on the Earth. It's just simply time has slowed down for the person who went from the Earth 50 light years and then back again. They only experienced a few seconds. So as far as they're concerned, they've only gone. The time has actually gone. That 100 years that they took to do that has passed. But just for them, they've perceived it slowed down for them. That's all. They haven't gone into the future. They haven't jumped ahead of the people on Earth at all. The people on Earth still were going on at the normal time. They just experienced time more slowly. So that's not time travel.
So their clocks match and their ages match.
Does it go by for 2 seconds if it goes by for 2 seconds for someone and 50 years elapses for someone else? That's time travel.
Well, it's not, because that implies they've jumped ahead of the people on Earth. They haven't.
Okay. Do their clocks match and their age match?
No, they don't.
You're splitting hairs. You're splitting hairs.
No, I'm not. It's very important to understand this. Time has carried on at the usual rate on the Earth, and they haven't jumped forward. It's not as though they've gone ahead of the people on Earth at all.
Okay, so they left, 2 seconds went by for them, and they came back, and on Earth 50 years went by. Yeah, they jumped ahead 50 years essentially.
They didn't jump ahead. That's time travel. Yeah.
That is.
They have not gone ahead of the people.
50 years didn't go by for them, but they're 50 years in the future.
They have not jumped into the future.
Then somebody fell behind.
Brandon, can I explain something? Okay,
sure.
So the idea that he's trying to, or the concept that he's trying to express to you, well, it's ridiculous. Obviously, it's not actually real. But if you think about two gears, okay, a larger gear and a smaller gear, one can complete an entire rotation, and the other one will have to do multiple rotations in the time it takes for the big one to complete one rotation. That's essentially the same thing that's happening. He's not saying that they teleport into the future. What he's saying is they experience the full 50 years in just a few seconds. They did it. They experienced that full 50 years faster than the other people. That's what he's trying.
I understand that.
Yeah,
let
that
me
doesn't make any
let me
sense.
respond to that.
No,
So
hold
if
on.
their
Hold on.
clocks don't match,
Hold on a minute.
if they're
So
It
the
is
guys
completely
on the
senseless.
spaceship are, let's say they're 20 years old when they leave. When they get back, they're 20 years old in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
The guys on the ground are 20 years old. When they get back, the spaceship gets back, they're 70 years old.
Yep.
That's time travel.
That's
I don't
not.
care what you call
yeah,
it.
if their
I
clocks
care.
don't match.
Well, you don't understand. You don't understand what time travel
No, I
is.
do
They-
Hold on,
understand.
Rumpus.
You
If their
don't
clocks
understand.
don't match
No,
or
you
their
don't.
age doesn't match, then there's a change in time between the
Well,
two.
experience time more slowly. They haven't gone to the future or anything like that. They can't go into the past. They can't.
They did
go
go
into
to the future.
No, they didn't go into the future because the
Oh,
future.
not
carried
really,
on.
guys. They
Either
didn't
one
go
of
to
them
the
jumped
future.
ahead
No, they
or the
didn't.
other one fell
Because
back.
the
Say it how
future
you
carried
want.
on. The future carried on at the usual rate on planet Earth, and they just did not experience that time as they experienced it more slowly. That's all. They didn't.
All right,
jump
let me
Okay.
run something.
Let me ask you
Hold
guys
on.
a question. Do you think that Captain America in the Marvel universe traveled did time travel? Did he time travel to the future? No. He was encased in ice and didn't experience the time between him being frozen and him waking back up. He didn't time travel. The entire bit, all of time went on without him. He just didn't experience it. That's all. That's all that
That's
Rumpus
not
is
the
saying.
same thing. That's not the same
It
thing. His
is, though.
body
That's
was
quite
still
close.
sitting there
Also,
in the
he's-
container for
listen.
the entire for the
Listen.
entire time that went by.
That's quite close.
All
That's
he's
quite
saying
close.
is that
It's not.
instead of
It's not
being
close at
frozen-
all.
It is.
No, it's
It
not.
is
Can I
quite
just
close.
point
It's
out
not
that you
close
had
at
to
all.
bring
You
it
don't
to a
They went
understand.
comic?
really, really
You don't
fast.
understand.
Hold on. Can I just point out that you had to bring it to a comic book fantasy thing to make it a relatable analogy?
Yes.
Also,
I'm not arguing to say that it's real. I
I
know
know.
that it's not. All I'm
I know.
saying is that instead of being encased in ice, he's saying that they went really, really fast, and that allowed them to avoid time instead of the ice allowing
No,
them
they
to
didn't.
avoid time.
No, they
All
didn't
he's
go really.
doing is changing the mechanism by which they avoid time.
All
Yeah,
right, so
time
they
travel.
go fast. Yeah, sorry, they were sorry. They went fast. Yes, but they just
If
simply
he was,
everything I mean, if you could just imagine the case with this, I've no idea about this Captain America thing, but just imagine if you could go into a room in which clocks slowed down and you slowed down and your thinking slowed down and the atoms in there slowed down, and then you stayed in that room for 50 years and then you came out again and everybody else had aged by 50 years, but you would only age by a second. That's
all right, let me make a
That's
point.
time travel.
Okay,
You're
so if
talking
we
about
both
how
had
time travel
No,
Yeah.
it's
works.
not. No,
Hold
It
on,
is.
Rumpus.
they haven't
Rumpus,
jumped forward
hold
in time. Time carried on at the usual rate outside.
Let me give an example. If we both had camcorders, okay? If I had a camcorder and I started filming, I had a 50-year chip, and my twin brother had a 50-year chip. He started recording, okay? So did he get 50 years of footage? And did me on Earth get 50 years of recorded footage? And I come back and he's 50 years older than me, okay? So we both got 50 years of footage, and I'm now 50 years younger than him, okay? So we're not on the same timeline. Call it what you want.
Right, but time didn't. They didn't jump forward in time. Time carried on at the usual rate.
But
They
we're
just-
not on the same
That's how
timeline anymore.
time
We
travel
both have
works.
50 years of
They
footage.
experienced
That's how
more
time travel
slowly
works.
during that period.
One person
No, it
jumps
isn't.
forward, the other people live their
No, they
life.
didn't jump
and then the
forward.
person
They didn't
pops
jump.
up.
No, time travel would be I am now in 90. I'm now here, and I can jump forward to 2021, and it's still 90. Still 2021 for you.
You got to answer my
But I
question.
jumped
Did we both
forward.
get 50 years of footage, though? Did we both get 50 years of recorded footage?
No, you only got a second's worth.
No, what? That's bull. Listen, pretend we had telescopes good enough where the person on the rocket and the person on Earth, they could both see each other the whole time.
Wait, he just
You're
contradicted
telling me-
himself, Jeremy.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, he just said, no, I only got 1 second's worth. So I didn't travel for 50 years then.
You did the yes, you did.
So then
no,
I got 50 years of footage.
Sorry, no. Sorry, 50 years of you. The person on the ground would see you traveling for 50 years, but because your video slows down, because your brain slows down, because the atoms slow down.
Not asking that. Does he have 50 years of footage or not?
Well, so you only
I
have.
need to know.
Oh,
if he has
Jesus
50 years of
Christ.
recorded
Jeremy,
footage.
stop interrupting me. So you've only got a second's worth of footage on your video camera. When you come back, to this world and you play the video, it would only have a second's worth of coverage on
Okay.
it.
All right. So you're telling me that I can travel for 50
God
years
damn it.
just under. You're telling me I can travel for 50 years just under the speed of light in 2 seconds. That's
Well,
what
you
you're
would
saying
only
right now.
experience-
You know how
you would only
ridiculous that sounds?
Well, yeah, I know it's tricky, particularly for people who haven't done this sort of thing.
It's not
for
tricky. I
time.
just
Has
made
nothing
you
to do
stop
with
on
it.
your own tongue.
It has nothing
No,
to
you
do with
haven't.
people who don't know anything or can't understand
Yes,
or
it is.
haven't studied
Yes,
it.
it
You're
is.
talking about
Yes,
fucking
it is.
time travel,
Yes, it
Rumpus.
is. Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
tricky, and you don't understand it. You don't understand simple science, let alone the
It-
complicated.
You
It's
just
not-
said,
That's
Rumpus,
not
you're saying we don't
complicated science.
understand.
Listen,
Science fiction.
time travel
You
is
just
way,
said-
way
No, it's
You
not.
just
You
said he
use
had-
it in
talking
GPS
about.
every day.
You
No,
just
you
said
don't.
that he
You
did
broke
have 50 years
it
of
down for
footage
me,
and then you said
Rumpus.
he didn't.
You
People
fucking
who
break that
designed
down
it,
for me,
Brandon,
Rumpus.
the people
You
who
show
designed
me
the
how
GPS
time
system,
travel happens
the
with
brand,
GPS.
the people
You
who
fucking
designed the
show
system will
me.
tell you they did.
You
You're
show
denying
me.
what the people
You
who designed
fucking
the
prove
system
it.
say.
You fucking give us a
Go and speak to a
demonstration
GPS
of
engineer, and
GPS
they
and
will tell
time
you how
travel.
it's
Break
designed,
it
and they'll
down for
tell
us
you
step by
what
step,
they had to
Rumpus. You
do.
don't know what the
And you're
fuck
just
you're
in
talking
denial.
about.
You're just in denial. You don't know. You're
Denial of time
anti-science.
travel. Yes, I am.
You're just ignorant. You're just ignorant. You don't know anything about science, and
No,
you think
I'm
you
not
can understand
gullible.
it. You don't.
I'm not
No, you're just
gullible.
stupid and ignorant.
Not gullible.
I mean, more ignorant than stupid, perhaps. You just simply
Ignorant
haven't had
because
the
I don't
education.
believe in
Lemon.
time travel.
You're ignorant
Allow
because
me
you
to
don't know nothing
allow me
about
to pin
science.
him back down. Allow me to
You
pin
don't
him back
understand
down.
basic science, let alone the more complicated stuff.
Rumpus, so if I leave and I've got a camcorder, okay, I travel for 50 years, okay, at the speed of light. I film that 50 years. My
Hold on.
twin is here on Earth. Hold on. You
Well,
got to
50
be
years for the
specific.
person on the ground. Hold on. Yeah, 50 years for the
No,
person on the ground, but only 1 second for the
Both,
person in the
both, okay? I'm bringing
it's
this to
not both.
practical. No, we both got a camcorder, dude. I don't care what you say. I'm saying that me and my twin brother both got a camcorder, and I travel for 50 years at the speed of light. He stays here at Earth filming
No, you didn't.
without moving.
From the perspective of the person on the
Wait,
ground, you spent
let me
50
explain
years.
something.
I haven't even asked a
Brian,
question, and you're trying to
It was
answer
only
it.
a second, but you keep
Brian.
on making this error. You keep on saying, I traveled
Let
for
me
50 years.
explain
No, you
something.
didn't.
I'm not
You-
making an error because I haven't asked a question
Yeah,
yet.
but you
Rumpus,
had a
hold
premise,
on.
incorrect premise. You
Rumpus.
said, I traveled for 50 years
Wait.
in the spaceship. You didn't. You only traveled for a second.
Hold on,
Rumpus.
Bob, your mic's low.
Well, then travel me for 50 years, Rumpus.
Brian,
Bob, your
can I
mic's
say
low.
something to you? In your example,
Your mic's
when
really
you
low,
say-
Bob.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Is this better? Is that worse?
That's slightly better.
Slightly louder. Yeah,
Okay.
slightly.
Say it with your chest.
Okay, listen, Brian. In your example, if you are traveling according to their math and their physics, if you're traveling at the speed of light or near the speed of light for 50 years, then it's going to be way, 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 way longer than that on Earth. So
Correct.
you can't have, according to them, 50
Thank
years
you.
at the speed of light and 50 years on Earth. It
Thank
has to
you.
be
That
50 years really fast and way longer on Earth.
right. That should have been Rumpus's answer because that was my example. So thank you,
No,
Bob.
right, so here we go, Brian. If you did
Brian, your
travel
mic. Hold
for
on, Rumpus.
Oh,
Hold on.
God, can I just respond to
Yeah,
Jeremy
I'm
quickly?
sorry. I'm very sorry. but
Jeremy, can I
Brian-
just make
Brian,
this quick
your mic-
point to Brian?
Hold on, Brian.
if
Your
you were
mic's
on
mad.
if you were on the
Dude.
spaceship for 50 years, your
I
time,
heard you, bro. I'll fix it.
then hundreds
Your
of
mic's
thousands
mad.
of
Your
years,
mic's mad loud, bro.
Oh,
I
then
know.
hundreds
Sorry,
of
Rumpus.
thousands
We're
of
trying
years
to
would
do
have
some.
passed by on Earth. So
Let's
when
pretend
you
we have
keep on
telescopes.
So, Brian, when you keep on saying 50 years, you've got to make sure it's 50 years for who? If you start talking about 50 years on the spaceship, then, hundreds of
I got it,
thousands,
bro.
possibly millions of years
That's better.
would have
So if I
passed by on the
so
Earth.
let me correct myself then. So if I travel for 2 seconds at the speed of light, if I travel for 2 seconds at the speed of light, and my twin brother,
Let's say near the speed of light. Say near the speed of light. It's not quite.
I've got a camcorder. I travel near the speed of light for 2 seconds. Okay, my brother's here on Earth, and he's got a camcorder. So he is going. He ain't moving at all, and he filmed for 2 seconds. Then what?
Why y'all playing the same show over from yesterday?
I know, right?
Let's just try again, Brian. The chap Brandon gets into his spaceship. He goes off near the speed of light for 1 second there, 1 second back. So total trip time of 2 seconds. Let's suppose it's sufficiently quick that he was going that 50 years from the ground, it would look like 50 years to get to there and 50 years to come back. So there were 100 years would pass
Prove
the
it.
ground.
Prove it. Quit talking
Well,
about it.
we
Prove
use
it.
GPS. GPS does this. GPS.
No,
uses
no,
this very
no. Prove what
It
you
is
just
proved.
said.
We've designed
No,
a
you're just
system that
more
uses
words
this.
now. Prove it.
GPS uses this very fact to get the results that it
Bullshit.
does. It
Prove
does,
it.
Bran. You can't. You're just saying no. You've no idea what
Because
you're
you
talking
haven't
about. You're
shown
speaking
us
from
anything.
complete
You just
ignorance.
say that GPS
So do you want me to
uses
show you how
time travel.
GPS? So do you want me to show you how the GPS thing's designed? Is that what you're
I
basically
want you
saying?
to break it fucking down and show us exactly where the time travel happens with GPS.
Right, because the GPS satellites are moving at 17,000 miles an hour.
Words.
It's a fact. You can go and measure it. You can go and measure the ISS. I have done this, and you can do the calculations, and you can see that it's moving at 17,000 miles an hour up there. You could go and do that. You could prove that yourself to yourself if you understood how to do the maths.
All right,
So
Rumpus, let me ask you this: how many people or objects do you have any data for that have actually time traveled? How many?
Sorry, how many objects do I know or people?
Yeah, well, how many people or objects do you have any actual verification that time travel has occurred? Because if you don't have any, then this whole thing is theoretical.
Yeah.
Well, it's
This
not because
conversation
I
so much
don't
better
have the
for
means to send something up at
Rumpus showed up.
17,000 miles an
Okay,
hour.
who has time traveled? Who's time traveled that you have verification of?
Brian Peake, for instance, has time traveled. He hasn't time traveled. He's slowed down. He is now, I think it's something like half a second or tenth of a second or something younger than he would be if it's
How do we verify that?
Dude. Did you say Tim Peake?
It was.
You say,
How do we verify
Whatever
he's
he's
a
called,
half a
Pete.
second younger
Tim, I think
or
it's Tim
whatever?
Peake, isn't it?
you talking about Tim Peake, the astronaut?
Yes! Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he's lying makes you age quicker. That's the only thing that's made him age quicker.
You're a moron. The point is the GPS system would be out by several miles within a few hours if it was not allowing for special relativity and general relativity effects. And they have a switch. They had a switch. When they launched the GPS system, they actually put a switch in there to whether or not to turn on the relativistic things just to see what difference it would make. And of course, they found that if they didn't turn it on, they would get errors. So they then put it in and it all worked fine.
GPS satellites are not time traveling.
Well, that's because I'm not claiming they are time traveling. They just simply experience time dilation, which is not the same as time travel.
Is time dilation what you're trying to describe when you talk about the person on Earth and the guy in the rocket going? Yeah, so
Yes.
that's time travel.
time
We've already
travel.
established
No,
that.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, we haven't. We've established you
It's
don't
not
understand
time
what I'm talking
travel,
about.
guys. Time travel is way cooler. I
No, because the
promise.
time has gone from the Earth.
This is time travel.
Time
The
travel
time
is
on the
way
Earth has
cooler
not
than
sped
that.
up.
It's
You
not
haven't
time
jumped into the
travel.
future.
It's
The
just
time
time
happened
dilation.
on the Earth at that same rate, and you've had to wait. I mean, what they will experience, which will be odd for them, is that they'll see that the universe contracts very. So when they go near the speed of light, they'll suddenly see the distances ahead of them. So they'll see the distance to their destination of 50 light years away will all be compressed into a very small distance. That's
No, they
what
won't.
they
Listen,
will experience.
I don't care what anybody says. If I jump into a machine and then go somewhere or travel at a certain speed and come back and everyone's aged and 50 years has gone by and it's only been 2 seconds for me, that's fucking time travel.
Okay, if you want to call that time travel, then for you,
Not
we'll
me.
call
I don't
that
want to
time
call it that. That's what it is.
Hold on,
Well, no.
real quick. The definition, the actual definition of time travel is traveling through time, the act of traveling through time into the past or the future. So that should settle this. That's time travel, period.
Well, at the end of the day, we're all humans on Earth. No one's traveling at the speed of light. No one's leaving the Earth system. So all of this is just completely a mind mangle, speculation, theorization. It's all theory.
GPS uses this in every
We
day.
got
You
Tim
are
Peake.
using
He's
this
a
result.
half a second younger.
Tim Peake is a tenth of a second
How do we
younger.
verify
That's
he's a half a
proof.
second younger?
And
you
GPS
goofy
is
fuck.
using this
He
all the
time
time.
traveled.
How do we
No,
verify Tim Peake's a half a second younger, Rumpus?
Well, you
goofy
can't
fucking
verify that, but you
Marty
can verify
McFly
that GPS.
motherfucker.
You can verify that GPS uses that because the
Hey
designers,
guys, listen.
the designers
people
of
who
the
run
system
every day seem to
used
live
it.
longer.
We already
Before
told
or
you they have
after
to
he-
use it because it ain't a globe. GPS has to
before-
make a correction
For Christ's
because it's
sake.
not a globe.
If you have an atomic clock and you have it on the ground, and you take it up to the top of the Eiffel Tower, they then differ by the result of being a different distance from the center of the Earth. This is a measured, established scientific fact. So we can
Then
establish
demonstrate
that
it.
time changes. Well, it has been demonstrated.
Demonstrate it, you fool. You believe any damn thing, dude.
It has been demonstrated again and again, and it's demonstrated every single nanosecond with the use of GPS.
No, it's not, because you cannot synchronize clocks.
Yes, you can. You
No, you
take
can't.
two clocks, you synchronize them, and then you take one up in an aircraft, which is what the classic thing was done in the 1960s or whatever it was, when they first done this. They take an atomic clock that measures things within femtoseconds, and then you bring it back and you find, oh, look, as a result of going up there, it's now showing a different time. But the
margin of error between starting them two clocks
on the ground
is bigger than the change, okay? You're talking about a billionth of a second, bro. You're talking about a billionth of a second. The margin of error is bigger than that.
No, but the clocks on the ground all agree, and it's only the clock that's being taken up that changes. And all the clocks that were taken up change in the same way, and all the clocks on the ground also agree. There's only a difference between the set of clocks in the ground and the set of clocks in the air, and they all differ by exactly the same amount.
Bro, you can't measure the one-way speed of light to prove that.
That's nothing to do with the speed of light. It's measuring atomic clocks. Got nothing to do with the speed of light, moron.
This is what you call an.
If it's got to be moving at the speed of light to dilate, then yes, it does.
It doesn't have to move at the speed of light. It just has to be going fast or moving away from the center of the Earth.
Rumpus, can you take a pause for maybe like 42 seconds? Just count 42 seconds. Let a couple other people chat because you're just screaming nonstop. Can we have more of a conversation instead of a screaming match?
I don't want to monopolize this.
Yeah.
I don't want to monopolize this.
This is what you call an. This is what you call an affirming the consequent fallacy. What he's doing with these atomic clocks here.
That's how
if
science
atomic
works.
clocks. You're not. This isn't science. Believe me.
Yes, it is. Of course, it's science.
If atomic clocks.
You make a prediction. You do the test.
Hold on, I'm laying it out.
It agrees with the result. It agrees with theory. That's science.
No. This is fallacious. This is fallacious.
How do you think science works? You make a prediction, you then do the test, you see if the prediction matches reality, and if it does, you say, right, providing you've sorted out all the confounding variables and you've allowed for little, all the stupid idiocy that can happen, the errors, and if you find that you've done all that and everybody else can repeat the experiment, everybody agrees, that's their own little tests, all get the same result, you say, yes, that theory works, we've validated it in reality, that becomes science.
No, I don't want to go down this road because I don't want to bore everyone, but you don't know.
You're a science denier.
No, you don't. No, I'm denying your pseudoscience.
If you don't agree with what I just said, you're just denying science and the scientific method.
Fine, I'm a science denier. You know what? That becomes more and more of a compliment every single day, Rumpus.
Well, that makes you an idiot then, because you shouldn't be proud of that.
Well, if you think I'm an idiot and you're the one calling me a science denier, I'm happy with that. That's fine.
Okay, well, you're happy in your ignorance. That's okay. Well, that's your problem.
What you call ignorance is healthy skepticism.
You're denying what in multiple scientific institutions have established as fact over decades.
They've established a lot of things as fact that have turned out to be complete bullshit.
Like what?
How about bloodletting? I'm sure
That's
the panel
science.
can name
that was not part
quite
of
a few.
That was never part of science.
Yeah, phlogiston was a big thing.
For just that was yes.
Mass attracting mass.
Well, that's a fact.
Anti-miscegenation.
What do you think pulls you down to the ground, Brian, when you jump out of a window? Or what measures your weight?
Yeah, it depends. If that window's in a pool of water, you're not going to go down. Yeah, there you go. That's what I should have said.
Anti-miscegenation is a huge one. The government in the 60s and the 70s said that if you mix the races, it will produce a mongoloid that will be against society. It will be a criminal.
That wasn't part of science.
Yeah, really? It was. You can look up. You can look it up. They passed laws based off the federal government.
That's what the lawmakers do. That's not.
Yeah, reefer
lawmakers
madness.
pass lots of science.
Reefer madness. What about phrenology? Wasn't phrenology mainstream science at one point?
No, that was never part of science.
What about how smoking tobacco?
That was never tested.
Because
it was never tested. That was just someone's idea, and it just became fashionable. It doesn't make it science. Science has got to be verified by scientific institutions. If it's just some people passing laws who are not scientists, or someone that comes up with a myth or a fad, that doesn't make it science. It has to be verified by scientists doing experiments and observations.
Like the
I
you
mean, the
mean
phlogisteran,
like
the phlogisteran theory, for instance, was just an idea that someone had. I think it was taken back from God knows ancient times, and it was only when it got tested by science was it shown to be bollocks. It was just an accepted thing. It wasn't part of science. It'd never been tested properly. And once
You
tested
wouldn't
by
know what
scientists, it was shown to be bollocks.
So how did you test properly the curvature of Earth?
You measure it.
how?
Yeah, how about dinosaurs
We make
being
a 30-foot
being
tower
fossils? They
out of
found an
like
unfossilized dinosaur.
Well, the science has given a mechanism for why now you're going back to the discussion I had on Jose's. We've got some what I called soft tissue, but Miles was saying from a biological point of view it's not, but it was a protein from the original animal has survived, and now they've discovered it, particularly with something like collagen, which is a very resistant to decay, and if it's provided with
65 million year resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do they know it's from the original animal?
Well, because it was found in the animal's fossil.
See, you know what he's saying though, because Rumpus always says we update it when we find new information. We update it. You know what that sounds like to me? What they do in the book 1984, where they just continually change reality. Like, oh, it was fashionable then. Now that's not science. It wasn't science then. This is science now.
But it's based on
but you know how that's not an analogy?
You never seem to distinguish the fact that science. You just think that science is an opinion. That someone like Einstein just said, "I know what we'll say that time changes," and everyone says, "Okay, that sounds like a great idea. We'll agree with that." No, we have experiments and observations that have to be performed before that becomes part of mainstream science.
Except that's
it's
not
nothing to do with
a lot
opinions.
of stuff that's considered part of mainstream science, which hasn't been tested.
Like what? Well, there's speculative science. I mean, people do put forward wacky theories and get them published in papers that are compatible with the existing science, but they do not become part of the mainstream. They put us forward like dark energy, for instance.
Yeah, guys, listen.
When that was first suggested, it was a wacky idea, and they said, "Well, we don't, it just conforms to the equations and the maths we know, but I can't prove it." Now we need to have some proof for it.
Go ahead, Bob.
I was just saying there's certain requirements that have to be met before their magic can become canon. Obviously.
Yeah, you test it with reality. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's right. You have to test it against reality.
The College of Cardinals have to meet and vote on it, and then they can write it down in the Holy Book.
Yeah, test against reality.
Brendan, what you said before.
Institutions around the world
how do they
will have
test
to
the
agree.
Big Bang Theory against reality?
Well,
that's considered part of
for
modern
instance, the inflationary theory that we have at the moment is related to the Big Bang Theory, makes predictions about what we will see in the cosmic microwave background radiation. And there were several before we had the hold on, Jeremy, please let me finish. There were several theories about what the inflationary theory type things, the start of the universe. And they all made separate predictions about what we would see in the cosmic microwave background. Then when we finally got, Jeremy, nearly there, 5 seconds. Right. And then we finally got a proper picture of the cosmic microwave background radiation. And all the theories that were contradicted by the picture of the cosmic microwave were then thrown away. And then we were left with the inflation theory, which did agree with what we observed. Go ahead, Jeremy.
The prediction of like how many atoms came out of the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's one.
And then what was that number again?
Dark energy.
I think it was 10. I think it was 10 to the 80. I think it was 10 to the 80 atoms. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's about 10 to the 80.
Right.
So hold up. You mentioned inflationary theory as if that's an actual thing that's been proven.
You didn't listen to what I was saying. The inflationary theory makes some predictions about what we will see in the cosmic microwave background radiation. We now see those things in the cosmic microwave background radiation.
Correlation does not equal causation. That doesn't prove inflationary theory.
Well, it doesn't prove it, but it certainly agrees with it at the moment. All science is like that. As I say, we could all be down to invisible green pixies doing everything, but at the moment we have an explanation that matches reality.
You're an invisible green pixie. Go ahead, Rob.
In science whatsoever. It's not scientific. Would you agree?
You don't understand what induction is, and you don't understand how science works. We could all be in a simulation.
How did we test it, though? You said it's tested.
Right, here we go. I'll try to say it again. The theory makes predictions. Before we had proper pictures of the cosmic microwave background, we had this theory that said this is how it's going to look. Other theories said it looks some other way. And then we get the pictures at the relevant detail we needed, and it matches one of the theories for the start of the universe.
Yes, I understand, but that's not a test.
So we say, right, that theory then is provisionally, when we never prove anything in science.
Making a guess and then having the guess be correct
that theory
is
looks
not a
like
test.
it matches all of the available data, so we'll go with that as a cause, a model of how the universe starts.
You understand
that's fine. It makes a speculative explanation based
hold
off
on.
of
All
limited
science
evidence,
is like
that does
that.
not mean it's a
Hold on.
test. Do you understand that it's not an
It is a
experiment?
test.
It's not
a
scientific.
test. It is a test. It
Rumpus,
is
we got you on
scientific.
tape.
It
Rumpus, we
makes
got
a
you on
prediction,
tape like
and
3
then
years
we
ago.
then do an observation, and it matches the prediction. That's what science is.
Rumpus, why do you say science doesn't prove anything? We got you on tape 3 years ago saying the body of science proved the heliocentric model or some shit.
I may occasionally I slip into the because it's easy. Otherwise, I have to say use the words validate or verify.
Validate means prove.
And then when I
means
do
prove.
that, then you come back and say, "Do you mean prove or something?" So to simpletons, it's easier to say proved. When if you ask me about it in detail, I say to you, right, well, science doesn't prove anything. In fact, it just validates and then says all the evidence points this way. Validates.
Validating something is proving it.
No, it's not.
If you validate something, you've proved it. Yes,
No,
yes, it is.
No, you don't.
Yes,
It's not a logical
proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Validate is not a
Validation beyond
logical
reasonable doubt.
philosophy. It's not part of
Why
logic.
would you need to validate something?
Confirmation beyond a reasonable doubt.
Rumpus, I mean,
Beyond reasonable doubt, it's all the same.
Proof has a very specific meaning. When you say you prove something,
Yeah, it means to
that's
validate something.
that has a very specific meaning in logic. And with science does not prove things because it could all be down to visible ring pixels
Rumpus,
or
you
inside a matrix.
defy all forms of logic.
Well, that's because you don't understand what I'm saying because you're stupid. So because you don't understand something, you reject it. That's quite understandable.
You are mad.
I don't reject anything that I don't understand. I investigate
You don't understand what I'm
I
saying.
don't understand until I understand it. And then when I understand that it's nonsense, I dismiss it.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying. If you think you can reject it, then you don't
You're talking
understand
about
what
little
I'm saying.
green pixies for fuck's
It could
sake.
be. See, the fact you don't understand that's a possibility means, again, you don't understand philosophy or logic.
Hey, Rumpus, can water be flat? Is that a possibility? Can water be flat?
Not on a spherical Earth, it's not possible.
Not on a spherical Earth. So then the Earth is not a sphere. Thank you.
But it is because we don't have flat water. We can show that.
Rumpus, in your opinion, is there anything in mainstream science that hasn't been proven? That hasn't been, like, backed up by testing?
Well, I mean, things have entered mainstream science. I can't know. I mean, there's bound to be something somewhere which is regarded as. I mean, something like the Big Bang Theory, for instance.
I mean, off the top of your head.
Hold on. The actual Big Bang, whether or not there was a singularity at the start of the universe, I think scientists, although it's it's in the mainstream, we talk about it, and I think, but actually in terms of scientists, I think only 50% of them actually believe that the Big Bang actually happened as we sort of conventionally think it did. So you could argue that one is a case of
I just did argue
that's in the mainstream, but we think it's true, but it hasn't been verified. But something like
Weren't you calling me a science denier earlier in the week for saying the Big Bang was bullshit?
I don't think I said you were for that. I don't think I said you were for that.
You're out of control, Rumpus.
No,
right,
you just don't understand what I'm
saying. You're
saying.
out of control.
I'm giving you lots of
we
information.
understand.
And you're finding
forget the Big Bang Theory.
You're finding it difficult
We
to
understand your
the things
double
that I'm
speak.
saying. No, you don't
Rumpus,
understand.
we
That's
understand your
problem.
double speak.
You think you understand, but you
no,
don't.
we understand.
No,
we do. We
you
understand
don't
your double
understand.
speak.
No, you don't understand the things that I say because you keep on misrepeating them. So it's demonstrating you don't understand. And something like the inflationary theory, we are confident about that because I said that matches the cosmic microwave background radiation. But the thing is, you can have an inflationary part of the universe creation without having a Big Bang. So we're still not quite sure about the Big Bang.
What about the problems with the CMB, Rumpus? Or are you going to act like they're not there?
What problems?
What problems? Yeah, I know. So you don't even know. You don't even know about this CMB thing that you're talking about.
What problems with the CMB, dude?
Which one are you talking about?
The axis of evil. The axis of evil.
No, that's not a problem. No, that's not a problem.
That's not a problem. Earth's in a significant spot, an important spot.
It's also not CMB.
It's not a problem. Yeah, it is. They found out everything lines up with the galactic plane.
Yeah, they're talking about all the different axes.
Axis
like
of
axes
evil.
of all the different shit.
Yeah, it's just
it all lines
That's
up.
what he said.
No, you're bound to
No,
get
he's talking about the CMB. CMB is the microwave background.
Said it was an
It's not an
accident.
accident, Rumpus. It's
He said it was an accident.
I got a quick
special
question.
direction.
Stephen Hawking and some other scientists wrote a letter saying that the inflation, like in the inflationary model, the CMB temperature variations kind of disagree with it. Because
there were several inflationary theory models, and Stephen Hawking was instrumental in modifying them to be improved. There were several inflationary theories.
Guys,
So
let me.
there's still an inflation,
Max
even
Tegmark.
though inflation typically
Yes,
has
Max
like
Tegmark
different
is,
patterns
well done,
of
Glenn.
temperature
well done. You knew
variation.
about Max Tegmark.
It's still correct, you're saying?
Offhand,
Sorry.
mate. Offhand.
Hold on,
Sorry,
Brandon's
I
trying to
think-
get. Go ahead, Brandon. Hold on, Rumpus.
Well, I didn't want to
Yeah,
interrupt
off the top of
Percentage's
your head, Glenn.
line of
Oh.
questioning, but I do want to.
Yeah, I mean,
Go
a
ahead.
bunch of scientists, or like, alleged scientists, claim that, if they had inflation, like the inflationary theory suggests, that you would have primordial gravitational waves found in the CMB,
Yes.
which they didn't find.
I think there are several. Okay, I'd have to brush up on that, but I think those problems were resolved in the end. I mean, obviously, you can. I think that was with the earlier inflationary theories. I don't know when was that letter?
Oh, I don't even
You'll
know.
probably find it's the early 80s or something.
It was recent. It's Alan Guth. Alan Guth himself is not satisfied with his own theory, inflationary theory.
Right,
Yeah, the
but then
data that they're talking about from the CMB was in. Oh, the letter was 2017.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's looking to change it, Rumpus, but it's the variable speed of light theory he's looking to replace it with, which isn't a consistent variable speed of light. It's just within the first few seconds, something happened where the
Yes,
speed of light was different.
Yeah, I think yes, I've heard something like that.
Anyways, let's forget that one. My question
Yeah,
still
I mean, the
stands
thing is,
for
everything's
Rumpus.
we learn more. So the details. I mean, okay, so there might be some small detail that we have a problem with because we haven't got a complete. I mean, this happened 13.7 billion years ago, but we do have a photograph of what happened 100,000 years after that in the CMB. So we've got a fantastic photograph of the early creation.
No, you
But the details of how it got there are still, we haven't quite got to grips with it all. No, there's no, science doesn't know everything yet.
I don't agree that you have a photograph from 100,000 years after
We do.
singularity.
That's what the CMB is.
Yeah, I don't agree.
That's what it's
So I think
proposed
Brandon,
to
I'm
be,
sending you
Rumpus.
a,
Come
I'm
on.
sending you a
Taking the
screenshot.
photo.
Conceptually.
Brandon, I'm sending you a screenshot.
What astronaut went
Hold
out
on a
and
second,
took that
Brandon. I'm
photo?
sending you a screenshot
Well,
right now of how Rumpus just lied a minute ago.
We put up a satellite
I wasn't
called
talking this time.
called the Planck satellite, which looked around in space, looking at the low-level temperatures around 3 degrees K, and then looked at the variations, and then effectively took a picture of the CMB. That's the picture I'm talking about. So an astronaut didn't do it; a satellite did. The Planck satellite. Well, actually, I think it was Phobie or something. Kobe satellite was also one before that, and there was another one before that. So we've had 3 satellites that have been taking pictures of the CMB.
Yeah, and they
So
all
those-
work on the premise that the light is traveling
Now.
at x speed, and the distance is x or y distance, and so it would take z amount of years to get to us. So we're looking in the past, basically.
Yeah, and it all agrees. Yeah, it all matches.
Yeah,
with
except
around-
No, it does not,
Theory-
Rumpus. Don't
Yes,
lie.
it does.
Don't
Yes, it
lie.
does.
No, it does
When you
not.
confirm the
Yes, it
distance.
No, it
does.
does not
There are
at
there's
all.
some more.
He
There are some
always gets
tiny
that
details.
There is
high
a
There are some
there is a
tiny
massive
details.
issue at the moment with the speed
is.
difference.
Yeah, but that's
You
at
are
the start.
lying.
No, that's at the start. The general.
It's
there-
not.
obviously there-
It's
there are little
now.
detail-
The current crisis in cosmology is that
Th-
they've just
there is
found
a-
out that
You're
it's
talking about
two
the
different
Bean-Hofstede.
speeds.
Yeah, well, that's Sabine Hofstede going on about the crisis. Yeah, I mean there is a
No,
problem
it
with the
isn't.
theory.
It was Dr.
There is
Becky.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there is a problem. We've got some of the details we haven't sorted out, but the general thrust is correct. But we do indeed have some small problems because we haven't got it sorted yet. It's like saying it's typical flatty approach. Unless you know something
But
perfectly,
you want us
you're not
to
allowed to know
believe
anything.
you.
We understand 95%
No,
of
you
what's
just
going on.
expect us to
We've
believe
got
you.
95% of it sorted. So okay, so we've got 5% to sort
No,
out.
things are changing, obviously. From what
Okay. Anyways,
you
let's
guys are
scrap
talking
that
about,
one.
things are changing.
The other way round, Rumpus.
Let's scrap that
5% you've
one,
got
'cause
sorted
that's
and
the example that I brought up
95% you need
myself.
to
So it
sort.
doesn't even
No,
count
we've
as an
got
answer for
95%
for the question. The question is there anything in mainstream science that you believe has not been tested and doesn't deserve to be there? And forget
Well,
like
I
scratch
raised the
Bang
Big Bang Theory. At the moment, science is saying, although it's sort of accepted by everybody, the fact that there was a big singularity.
I mentioned that one, and we just talked about that. Like one
Well,
off the top of
I'm
your
telling
head.
you that one, I can argue. You can make a good case for saying that is in the mainstream, but in fact, science is actually beginning to wonder if that actually happened.
Yeah, yes, but forget that one. Is there anything else off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, no.
All right.
All right,
Well,
let me
that
read
doesn't
these
count 'cause I'm the
now.
one that mentioned
I
that
offered
one.
you one. I mean, God.
Okay,
No, I'm the one that said
JQ,
that one, bro.
$5. Ahead of the people on Earth, Why is Rumpus picking the spaceship as the moving one if movement is also relativistic? It's an interesting
Good question.
point. Yeah,
That's a good question. That's a good
That
question.
is a good question.
Well, if they're both moving, then you wouldn't pick one. It's usually because it's accelerating and it has to accelerate to return. But if they're both just moving away from each other, you could decide either. It could be either frame.
So which one?
Would be. Yeah, but the thing is, when you're gonna have them read, like usually when you do this problem, you're like talking about like twin paradox or something. It's one leaving and then coming back because they have to come back for them to realize that to compare the differences, and it's really the one that's accelerating that's gonna you're gonna perceive a difference.
Correct. It's the fact that the other one had to turn around and come back and accelerate and decelerate. So Coach is absolutely right. That's the one that you, as the being on the Earth, didn't change your movement, whereas the spaceship went away, accelerated up to light speed, and then got to a location, slowed down, then turned around. That's what makes it.
So in other words,
but relative to the spaceship, the Earth was doing
accelerated to light speed.
No, but the Earth didn't turn around. No, but the Earth didn't turn around.
So what's the speed of motion where I lose Wi-Fi connection?
The Earth, hold on, let me finish, Brian. The Earth didn't undergo an acceleration. If you were on the Earth, you wouldn't measure an acceleration, whereas in the spaceship, you would measure a deceleration and then an acceleration as you turn around.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
Next
so
one,
if I experience
$5.
2 seconds on the spaceship, go ahead, sorry.
JQ, $5. If movement is also relativistic, then how does Rumpus pick which clock is the moving one? I think you just answered that question. Thanks, JQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to point out,
hold on, let me get through one more. Will Gaston, $5. If scientific method was flawless, we wouldn't need peer review.
Well, it's not flawless. People make mistakes, so you need peer review to check other people's work. They think they've done a good job quite often, and they cock it up, but that's human error.
You need peer review to maintain your paradigm, but my point is so if we were connected by Wi-Fi, me and my twin, we are connected by Wi-Fi, unlimited range Wi-Fi, just save for the speed, for the sake of.
Thanks, Will.
Problem. So at what speed would I lose connection just due to our times not lining up?
No, that's a good one right there. If you had Wi-Fi connection with the guy on the rocket and the guy in the guy on Earth, and they could talk the whole time on Skype or something, what happens then?
Right. What would the person on the Earth would then appear to see the person on the Wi-Fi if they could get a connection? But let's assume they could for the moment. They would perceive them slowing down. They would speak more slowly. The clock would go more slowly, and everything would go more slowly for them. So if you said something, it would take them an awfully long time to respond to any sentence. Take them a year or 10 years or whatever to get a sentence out. Well, no, they wouldn't know. Sorry, they wouldn't. They'd only have a second. So in fact, they would never get you. They would seem just not to respond to you.
Right. So fairy tale.
It's what GPS uses, bro.
Not reality.
GPS every day. It's what GPS uses.
You haven't proven that.
Bro, I told you,
uses
GPS they had to make adjustments because the Earth's not a globe.
Brandon, what proof would you like? What do I have to do to you
I don't
show
know.
the designers of GPS to your
Prove the Earth is a globe. That's what you got to do.
If your theory involves the end product of it is that whatever phenomena you're witnessing, your conclusion is that time travel is taking place, then you fucking misinterpret.
You deny. I mean,
bro, look it up. You can't say it.
But the point I'm making, Brian, is that before I just showed you those pictures of atoms, you denied what was going on. Then you've now stepped up a rung up your ladder to some intellectual uplands, and that's one ladder you've taken up. Now we're on another rung that you haven't yet to take. But if I had time enough with you, I would be able to show you.
Rumpus, I got you stomping on your tongue in 2 sentences, bro. I got videos of you fucking lying through your fucking fat mouth.
Well, we just lied about.
Give me an example, you little wanker.
We just lied about the CMB.
At least I admit when I'm wrong.
When he said,
no, what have I lied about, you little wanker?
You just lied 2 minutes ago when you said the axis of evil. I'm about to tell you, shut up. The axis of evil in the CMB. Remember how you said that didn't have anything to do with the CMB?
No, I didn't say that. That was
me.
show. I said it was part of the CMD. Stupid twat!
Well-
you can't even remember who said what. You stupid
Kosho
wanker.
lied to us.
Bro,
I didn't lie to you,
Utter, utter
dude.
wanker,
oh
Jeremy,
my
stop
God,
being
dude.
fucking
Can't even
cock-ass, dude.
remember
If I
who
was wrong
said
about
what.
something, I
You
wasn't lying to
stupid,
you.
you stupid,
All right, you were
stupid
you were
tosser.
wrong. All right.
Yeah,
I thought
You
it was
are, if
lying.
it's pointed out, if it's
man.
pointed out and then you
Lying
deny
to
it,
you.
then it's a lie.
Oh, Rumpus.
To make a lie,
Rumpus.
Gary, do you
Calm
understand that to make a lie, you've got to intend.
Yeah, I know. Relax. I thought it was.
Once it's pointed out and you still deny it, then it's a lie, which you
No,
have
but
done.
I mean, dude, we can just chat, dude. Like, if I'm wrong about something, don't say shit like that, dude. Jeremy, I mean, you're
Yeah,
wrong
you're
about
right.
shit all the fucking time. I'm not gonna sit there and
Calling
call
me
you a
out for
liar.
lying about atoms when I said yes, you presented an atom.
I
So
didn't say you
you
lied
got it.
about atoms. Brian, I never said you lied about atoms. I said you just denied them. That doesn't make you a liar. I never said you were lying. Those words very rarely pass my lips. I've only accused
I'll give you
3
that.
people on the internet of lying ever.
Okay,
And
I'll give you that.
I've never,
I'll give
I've
you
never
that.
accused
But-
you of lying, ever.
Okay, I'll give you that. But if you find out you contradicted yourself and you don't humble yourself, then it becomes a lie.
What have I contradicted? You just made about 2 minutes ago. You made
Okay, right off the bat, you said that the definition of a force is something that it's something that could put something in motion, or however you define the force. And you said that heat is not a force, and then I said, and you said a force is something that puts something in motion. And then the next sentence I said, can you move something with heat? And you said yes.
Yes, but that doesn't make it a force. There's a process here.
Define a force.
Right, a force is something that causes a mass to accelerate. That's the definition of a force. Heat.
Can I move something with heat?
But that doesn't make it a force. Heat. If you do go to the
according to your definition,
listen, Brian. Try listening
Why
and
not,
understanding.
Rumpus?
Heat is the
Yeah, why not?
definition of the amount of energy moved between 2 states. That's not a force. It can indirectly cause forces to happen, but heat by itself is not a force.
Define a force one more time. Go ahead, Jeremy. Go
Force
ahead.
is something that causes a mass to accelerate or decelerate.
Can I make a mass accelerate with heat, Rumpus?
Yes, you can, but that doesn't make it a force.
That makes you a liar because now you're still
you don't
denying it.
understand what I'm saying. You don't understand what thermodynamics is.
Ugh.
You
First
can
of all, I
use
was
the
joking when I
energy.
caught-
You can use the energy in heat to cause forces to be exerted, but heat, by definition, is not a force. It's a
Right, what
measure.
force does heat give off?
It's a measure of the energy, and no. I mean, we talk. I mean, it'd be
Bro,
easy
there's
if I
no
could
help
talk
for
about-
you. I'm sorry. There's no help for you.
You don't understand thermodynamics. I mean, it'd take me 2 weeks or something of intensive education of you for you to understand why you're being.
Bro,
so
you
stupid.
could never dumb me down that retarded where I
Brian,
didn't
he's
contradict
right
myself in
terms
2
of the
sentences.
Current scientific rhetoric, he's right. Heat is energy, not a force.
This man just described force as something that accelerates a mass. And I said, can I move a mass with heat? And he says yes. He's literally defining it as
Strictly
that.
speaking, heat is the energy, and you can create a force with that energy.
Yes,
but it's not.
that's not a
energy
force.
per
It can
se.
create
I mean, it's
forces,
not a
but
force
that's
per
not
se.
a force in itself.
Do you understand how you're defining a force?
I'll say it again. A force is something that causes a mass to accelerate. Heat can
It's something heat. Can I make something move with heat?
Listen, real quick. This can be helped out a little bit. Can you give an example of what you're even talking about with heat creating
a Carnot cycle engine?
Excuse me?
Yeah, a hot air balloon. I could make a hot air balloon float with heat. I could make an egg.
No. I don't. Okay. I'm sorry, Brian. I don't doubt what you can demonstrate. I'm asking Rumpus to demonstrate what he's talking about. What can you show us? Because you say you misunderstand thermodynamics. Okay, great. So please demonstrate. I don't want you to describe it. I want you to show it. What are you talking
Can't
about?
show it from my bedroom, can I? What a stupid idea.
Okay, Rumpus. Surely someone has a video somewhere of what you're talking about. Can you not locate?
We can demonstrate. There are videos on YouTube showing you that the atoms inside a gas or the molecules inside a gas, doesn't make a difference, increase their velocity with it if you deliver some heat to the system. So they then acquire energy, which means that they then acquire a velocity, which is a measure of their temperature. But you do that by delivering heat, is the energy you put into a system. And then that thing acquires temperature. And then with temperature, you then that means that the molecules now have got kinetic energy, which means they'll exert a force on their container. So for example, like a balloon, if you were to, as we're talking about, Brian was talking about, if we were to heat up a balloon, that would cause the molecules inside to move around more quickly, and that would result in a force being exerted on the inside of the balloon. So there would be
I'm
a force.
accelerating it with
Hold, hold on.
I can give an example. I could give an example.
No,
Actually, he
no,
did
no,
a good
I'm
job of
really
explaining.
not interested in talking to you right now. I want to
I-
follow with Rumpus real quick.
The heat
No, no, no,
and
no, no,
energy
no, no,
transfer
I give
is
simple,
what
understandable
can then
example.
exert a
No,
force.
Go
I
ahead, Elena.
understood.
I'm monopolising this already, so let Aline give an example. I'm already speaking more than anybody else.
I understood what Rumpus gave an example of, but I just have a real quick question, Rumpus. Okay,
right.
So if you don't bring in any influence in your scenario, let's say you've got a box full of gas, right?
Yeah.
Those gas particles are bouncing around anyway, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so the force already exists.
Yes, you're increasing it. Yes, they're already because they're running around. They have a velocity. They will hit the side of the container, and if there wasn't anything on the other side,
gas pressure. That's just gas pressure, bro.
Yeah, and you're increasing.
Yeah, I can move metal. Yeah, you can heat up metal and make it move.
Oh, Jesus Christ! And that exerts a force. Yes, that is what gas pressure, because force is. A pressure is equal to force divided by area. So those gas molecules, when they hit the container, they hit the cardboard box, whatever you got it in. But if there's nothing on the other side, no gas inside bashing the same way, it would then. But of course, all the molecules are going in all different directions. So if you had a container, it would just remain motionless because the motion of the molecules is the same in all directions. So it's hitting one side of the container on one side with the same force on the other side.
But then
you just understand thermodynamics, Brian. You're just ignorant of this. You don't understand physics. You don't understand science.
Take that
You don't understand the simple stuff.
Take that balloon and introduce heat. And
You
energy
have no
transfer
common sense
to the gas
at all.
inside,
You
will
have
then
no
exert
understanding
more
of science,
pressure.
Brian. None. Zero. And yet you think with Dunning-Kruger, you've got the right to tell everybody what your opinion is as though it's correct.
Bro, you got the common sense of a stone. You're
You
sitting
don't
there
have
saying
any-
in
No,
one
I've got
sentence.
lots of common sense. I'm familiar with the world works, and you're not.
Dude, you are explaining accelerating something as a force, and then I'm saying heat, okay, and then you're saying the force is already present, and so then I use a solid, okay, and so you're going to say that the force is already present in the solid? That's fine. Then mass is a force. You're contradicting yourself either way,
No,
you
just don't
idiot.
understand what I'm saying. Heat can lead to forces, but that doesn't mean to say heat in itself is a force.
Then answer Travis's question. What force does heat lead to?
It's very Brian. If you'd ever done an equation or tried to model this in maths, you would realise that these separate little components are crucial to understand.
Which one? What, the buoyancy equation? What are you talking about? The gas law? It's not fucking rocket science, Rumpus. You can't always fall back on your math.
Something would take to fall to the ground. If I said to you, "Here's an object that's 10 meters above the ground,"
it's a simple fucking formula.
Right? What is it?
It's 9.8 meters per second squared. Or if you want to go m1 times m2 over r squared. How do you want to do it, Rumpus? It's not fucking rocket science.
Right.
Dude, you can't fall back
on the background.
You can't fall back on fucking equations, bro, to prove you have common sense.
How long it would take something at 10 meters to fall to the ground would take?
About a second.
But no, I want you to give me a formula for the time
9.8 meters per second squared, or per second per second.
No, that's not the time.
Okay, then 1 times m2 over r squared. We're not gonna fucking prove your common sense, dude.
No, you see,
Equations, bro.
You can't do it, can you?
You can't say something like, oh, what?
You cannot even do the
Guys, are you guys gonna bicker back and forth about who's
It's a
stupid all
simple
night?
fucking equation, bro.
You can't do it though, can you, Brian? You
Can we
cannot
move on to
Yes, I
another
just
line
did.
of discussion?
No, you didn't. You gave me all the wrong answers.
Rumpus, here's what Rumpus would say. He'd say, what
Brian, let it
If
go.
Rumpus got it wrong,
Let it go.
you won't let me defend myself, will you? Okay.
You don't need to. Let it go. We already got it. We got it. You guys are going back and forth for a long time.
Are you ready for that simple explanation yet?
Let's
go ahead, Brenda.
Oh, by the way, happy Pride, everybody. So the simple explanation, say take a hot air balloon, right? The heat from the burners adds kinetic energy to the gases inside of the balloon. That gives them greater kinetic energy and expands the volume of air inside the balloon, which means it possesses the same mass at a greater volume, which means it weighs less, which, because of buoyancy, gravity pushes it up.
It doesn't weigh
Okay.
less.
All right, that's a good one.
It doesn't weigh less.
The volume.
It didn't weigh less. It just had a bigger volume.
But you could also move steel. You could move steel with heat.
Its density would be less then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so there you go. Do you understand that, Brian? That's a good example.
And here's another one. Okay, we're going down a list here. So Rumpus said that he never said that he drew straight lines to the Isle of Man. And,
I never
and
said
Nathan,
that. I never said that, Brian.
Guys, you really don't want to argue about conversations you guys
I
had
did draw
previously.
straight lines to demonstrate how the geometric horizon works. I absolutely did draw straight lines. I've never said otherwise. I also talked about refraction. Try and remember what happened, Brian.
we don't.
Yeah,
No, we
try and
don't. We don't.
remember
We do.
what was said. Try and remember
Why
in
are
your
you
brain.
drawing
And
straight
don't
lines
get
if everything's
confused.
refracted?
Because I was demonstrating what straight lines and geometric horizons are. And I'm demonstrating what the Mick West
Demonstrating
diagram
something
was.
you don't
But
have.
let's not forget that people like Nathan and
You
Riley
said-
deny the refraction ever happened. And I had to talk about
Rumpus.
the geometry of it beforehand.
Deny this. Okay, can you deny this? You said that you can judge where an item is supposed to be by knowing the horizon. You can judge where that item, where the object is supposed to be according to the geometric horizon.
I didn't understand any of that.
Okay, you said you can explain where the object is supposed to be. I mean, or where any object over the horizon, you can explain where that object is by its position and coordinates to the geometric horizon.
With relation to the horizon, yeah.
Well, no, all the
Mm.
calculations I did were with the refracted calculations. If you go and look
Then
at all
you
the-
denied that.
No, I didn't. Hold on. All the calculations you'll ever see me using inside those discussions about the Isle of Man, I'd always be referring to the refracted calculation for hidden. So that's the thing that determines the position. Or I always use the refracted. Meanwhile, Riley wasn't even using the hidden calculation. He wanted to use the drop. And meanwhile, Nathan was saying refraction is a hologram hyena. So they
Guys,
weren't even
I gotta
time
tell
to
you,
use that
it's gotta
horizon
be
with
incredibly
refraction.
boring for the audience to listen to you guys argue about conversations that happened
Yeah, all right, I'll
a
shut
long
up.
time ago.
I'll end it with this. And everybody, when you get a chance,
hold on.
let's go see Nathan Oakley in 1980.
Hold on.
Hey guys, really quick. I didn't hear what you just said, Rumpus. Can you repeat that?
Oh, what the fuck are you doing, Branch?
I was.
Yo, what up, Brad?
I can't remember which I was repeat. I was.
No,
I
don't. He was
said,
joking.
He was fucking joking.
Was it a joke? Was it a joke?
Yeah,
It was
It was a joke.
I'll end it with this. I'll
Thanks,
quit
man.
arguing. I will quit arguing. But everybody, when you get a minute, I don't care if you quit watching Nathan. Go watch Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. His last video about Rumpus, and he 100% directly contradicts himself. And it's
Well,
funny.
you can-
And as soon as he watches it, admits it, I'm good.
You can make anybody contradict themselves by selectively editing what they've said.
Yeah, because
You got to hear this video. That's all I'll leave it
Okay,
at.
I'll look at that. I guarantee I'll be quoted out of context. So, for instance, if you just take out,
And if you're wrong, will you humble
You
up?
guys are right back to where we just had a discussion. about.
Please,
Branch, we need another joke.
Rob, just ask one question.
You know, this is why Rumpus takes over shows, guys, and I hear complaints
don't mean
about
to.
this
I
all the
apologize,
time
Brandon.
because
Brandon,
you
if
guys
you want me to
can't
stop-
leave him alone. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Brandon.
takes two to
Brandon,
tango.
if you want me to stop, just tell me and I will stop.
You know?
Go ahead,
Hello?
Rob.
Brandon,
Go
can
ahead.
you hear me now?
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question of the panel. Is the surface of the Earth two-dimensional or three-dimensional?
It's two-dimensional.
All surfaces are defined as two-dimensional. That's
Right.
that's what a surface is defined.
How
as.
do you determine elevation on a two-dimensional surface?
You
You
don't.
define
You
its
don't.
elevation, and you don't describe it.
It's
on
relative to
surface.
the surface. It's not on the surface, is it? Otherwise, it wouldn't be elevation.
Yeah, the elevation is relative to what is it, Rumpus?
Geoid,
The geoid. It's
ellipsoid.
It's their tricky way of taking drop out of the globe.
WGS 84.
Hold on,
The
real
one that
quick.
GPS uses. The one that GPS uses is the WGS 84 ellipsoid. That's what we get. The GPS tells you your elevation is relative to. That's a 3D
Okay, hold-
measure
hold-
against a thing.
The potato.
Hold on, just real quick. Okay, look, if we are on a field and that field has an incline of, like, say 10 feet, so it's this little tiny hill, okay? At what point does the hill not become surface?
Well, here to look at it like this. If
No,
you were
no, no,
asked,
no, no,
li-
no,
listen,
no,
listen,
no,
listen,
no.
listen. I
I
listened
was-
to your
hold on,
question.
I
Now
was
listen to the
asking-
answer.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
was
fine.
asking Rumpus.
Well,
I was
answer it then,
asking.
Yeah, I'm
Gozo.
trying to answer the question. This
Oh,
guy
Hold
doesn't shut the
on.
hell
I
up.
wasn't asking you. I wasn't asking you. Rumpus made the claim.
I'll be quick. So, yes, a surface is a surface, and therefore it doesn't matter how much it's inclined, what shape it is. For instance, if you were to take
Oh my God.
the classic one being
Listen, you're not answering my
How about we
question
just
anymore.
rephrase
Listen
the
very
question
carefully.
to say, is the topography of the
Hey,
Earth
guys,
2D?
honestly, guys, you guys are all being dumb
Okay,
fucks
that contradicts what you just said a minute ago. When you were saying yes, it does.
Well, it all depends what if you take the WGS 84 as your surface, but if you decide your topography, if you
Talking
decide
about
that
the
lay
Earth,
of the
the
land,
Earth.
if you decide that the lay of the land is your surface, then that's the surface.
Is two-dimensional.
That's what he was talking about. That's what Rob's question was. Don't make
Yeah,
it
that's
more
why I'm rephrasing
complicated.
it to be topography.
Surface
Is the
is a
topography
two-dimensional property. It's a
Yeah, that's what we're
two-dimensional
saying.
property.
That's what we're saying, Branch. And you can know this by if you were tasked with let's say painting some strange sculpture that somebody gave you a strange sculpture. Branch, hold on. Somebody gave you a strange sculpture. It could be shaped like anything. It could have any kind of topography. It doesn't matter. But they gave you a strange object and they asked you to paint it. The amount of paint that you would use would be strictly based on the 2D dimensions of its surface. Its surface would be described in 2D, and that would give you the surface area, and that's what you would use to know how much paint you're going to.
Not necessarily.
Good.
That's a bad
Well said, Koshu.
No,
Yes,
that's a bad example because
no, it's a good example.
with painting, you often require a certain thickness, right? And
All just
depending on the
put it
structure
my
itself,
question, though.
first
Yeah,
off,
but that's
it would have to be
I agree
perfectly
with that.
smooth, and secondly,
I agree with that.
when there's
I agree with
divots
that
and stuff like
because,
that,
you know,
some
people are
areas would
very
require more
thick.
paint.
Exactly.
But you've then turned to a 3D thing. We're talking about geometrically here. We were asked a geometric question.
Yeah, that's why
and the
phrase it as topography. Then we know exactly what we're talking
but
about.
the topography
Surface
is
can be
infinitely thin.
conflationary.
The surface is infinitely small or infinitesimally thick, and therefore there's no adding on or anything more to it. It's just talking about the surface area in terms of its the area of it is determined. Now, if you want to start putting on layers of paint, then you're building up a 3D surface on that 2D, a 3D volume on that surface, and it ceases to be a surface.
Well, the simple way
is
to
the topography of Earth 2D.
Yes, if you just and you don't allow it to go up and down, you just say, here's just like a statue. As Kosho said, you could treat it just like an arbitrary statue-shaped thing. And it's no different to the topography of the Earth. You could think of it just the surface of a statue that is two-dimensional.
Except if you were to map it out, you would require 3D coordinates, right?
No, you don't. That's exactly the key thing. You don't. Because you can describe every point on that surface with just 2 coordinates. You don't need 3.
Not relative to each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it a surface, a 2D thing. So similarly, for instance, if I was to then get that
relative
as
to each other, there's depth between the points.
No, there's
right?
not. There's only 2 dimensions. There's only.
No,
there's
it
only...
wouldn't be though.
Yes, it
would.
would.
Be X, Y, Z. It would.
No,
Like,
it wouldn't. You can describe every point.
Of something.
You can describe every point on that surface with just 2 coordinates, and every point relative to another point you can describe in just 2 coordinates.
What if the surface?
Yes, you can.
You literally couldn't. You would
What
need
if you're on
Z.
top of a
You
hill?
need depth.
How would you know you're on top of it and not a different
we're
level?
presuming
How-
You need 3 axes. You need 3 axes.
You only need 2. You only need 2.
Yeah.
No, you don't, because every single
you do.
point in 2 axes would be covered. X, Y, Z, they would all be covered.
Yes, that's the point.
The thing that defines the
Yeah, in
topography
free space,
is the
you need
Z
3
axis,
That's our
the
point,
depth.
XYZ.
No, you only need 2 points
Wow,
to
I don't know
define
how
the
you're not getting
surface of any 3-dimensional geometric object. You only need
Only if it
2.
was perfectly flat would you only need 2 points.
That's not
Oh
true.
my god.
That's not true.
2
Any
axes.
3-dimensional
No.
object, you only need 2 dimensions. Oh,
For the surface. For the surface.
No, you're tripping, bro. For topography, you would need
For
3.
the surface.
No,
You're
for
wrong.
instance,
he's talking about topography.
we can describe every point on the globe with just 2 coordinates, a latitude and a longitude, and that covers every single point. You do not need a 3-dimensional coordinate to describe.
How
points
if you're on
the
top
surface
of a
Earth.
hill? How do you know where you are?
It depends. Well,
I think he's getting it now.
thanks.
Yeah, because if I'm down, Rumpus, I'm not going as far out on my y-axis.
I mean, that's silly. That just, even to me, that sounds silly. How would you know whether you're on top of a mountain or whether
Give him some
whether you're the same level?
It's not
if
a
you haven't
sphere.
got that third
I
dimension.
did say a sphere. I did say a sphere. But if you then you have a more complex.
You've just been rumpus.
No, I haven't. Well, I've been rumpus. Yeah, Paige interrupted me. That's for sure. So you can say, because the surface that intersects
with
that,
it, motherfucker.
oh
Listen.
my god, the latitude and longitude, even if it goes up and wiggles up, you would still have the same latitude and longitude,
Hey,
even if it
what
goes up
about
to
the hill?
peak.
What about
Yeah,
the
I
hill,
didn't
mate?
interrupt you, Rumpus. I just asked
In
you
his
a
own
question.
words, a triangle would not match on a globe. A triangle would not match on a flat
It
earth.
wouldn't matter.
So
if
you
it's
need three
bumpy.
dimensions in.
No, you don't. I can move across the surface of a think a basketball, for instance. Even if I made that knobbly, so think of a basketball, which is obviously a 3D object, and the surface of it. I can describe every point on the surface of that basketball with just 2 coordinates. And the same is true
No,
of the
you
surface
couldn't.
of the Earth.
Not relative to each other.
You need
Yes,
depth
you can.
You would need
to
No,
depth.
you
describe
don't.
the ridges
I
in
can
the
cover.
little,
I
like,
could
bumps
say.
on them,
I
you
could
would
describe. I could
need
give you
depth.
coordinates that where you painted. I'd say put a blob of paint with 2 coordinates. I could give you the coordinates. I'd say put a blob of paint there, and then give you another 2 coordinates, another, and I would be able to cover all of the basketball.
So you can give me length times width then, right?
With just those 2 coordinates,
give me
you would
times
cover
width then, right?
the entire surface of that basketball. Finished.
What about the
But
ridges
relative to each
inside
other,
the
you wouldn't
basketball,
know
bro?
it
What
without
about
the
the
depth.
ridges?
Yeah, you're ignoring
Rumpus,
the relative.
you could give me length times width and it'd match a ball. Rumpus, length times width.
I didn't understand
Rumpus,
that.
You give
Rumpus.
latitude
Yes,
and
you
longitude.
did.
You give latitude and longitude,
Rumpus,
Brian.
accept
Latitude
it,
and
Rumpus.
longitude does
You
not
beat
take
Rumpus.
account topography.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to.
Longitude.
Blades of
Longitude
grass.
Longitude
No, you would need
is
depth for
a
that. You would need the
three-dimensional
z-axis.
No, you don't. Percent.
track.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
To map out grass and trees and
Rumpus,
a bunch of other
Rumpus.
rocks.
Let me back
that's
percentage
depth.
up here for a minute. So let's say we're there's a mine shaft, and we're in like the housing at the top of the mine shaft, and 1,000 meters below us, a crew is working down there. I'm gonna send the coordinates for both myself in the housing at the top of the mine shaft and the crew at the bottom of the mine shaft to the central
Exactly.
office. How am I
Then
going to
you've got
send
2
them
surfaces.
those coordinates?
He's a crew on the surface
But that's
of the
no longer a
earth.
surface. If you
How
want
do
to
you
describe the house on one,
how do you describe the
But
Himalayas?
it's just like the hill, just in a different,
two
different
dimensions.
group.
Let him
because you said
answer.
the
How
surface
am I,
of
how am I
the hill.
going
How would
to
you
send those
describe-
coordinates?
Right,
No,
you
what?
would give
Very,
them latitude
very
and longitude.
simply, very
But-
simply,
But
Rumpus.
you, because
Well,
you've got
hold
more
on,
than one
Brant.
surface.
Rumpus.
Let's hear the answer.
Rumpus,
These guys are the
you've
ones
got more than
claiming
one
that
Hold on,
it's
surface.
2
Brant, let him
dimensions.
answer this
Brant,
one, and you're
Rumpus.
next.
You've got a
Brant,
surface
you're
with
next.
thickness.
Rumpus.
You've got a surface with
Describe
thickness, which
to
makes
me
it no
in
longer a
2
surface.
dimensions.
You've got a
Himalayas.
duplication.
Branch,
You've
hold
got a
on.
position in the
2
house and a
dimensions,
position in the
Rumpus.
mine
Branch.
shaft,
Describe the
and that
Himalayas
means
to
you
me.
cease to have a
Brant
surface.
rated in.
You've now got a 3D object
So
by describing it.
topography.
But if you just wanted 1 point, let's suppose you just wanted a
Hang
No,
on,
no, I
Brent
want
just
both
said even with a
points.
3D,
I'm going to send both
you
points.
only
I'm going to
need
send the
2D.
location of my crew, myself in the housing at the top of the mine shaft, and the crew at the bottom of the mine shaft. I need to send
Right,
both
so-
the coordinates for
Yeah, but
both of us.
that's no longer a surface. That's no longer a surface. You've got 2 points at the same thing. That's no longer a
Right.
surface. You've now described something with an elevation.
Rumpus.
Exactly. Now you have
Yeah.
depth.
Rumpus,
That's why
you're
you
wrong.
can't
Exactly, which
see
makes it no
wrong.
longer a
Accept it,
surface.
No,
It
still
ceased to be a
topography.
surface
wrong,
at that
bro.
point.
Relative to each other.
It ceased to be a surface if you have 2 points
Rumpus.
on a surface. You then got it
Rumpus.
thickness. Because
Then
then
you're
you've given
saying
it a
that
thickness.
topography
You've given
isn't a
it
surface.
you've given it a
Wrong,
third
Rumpus.
dimension.
You're saying
Brandon, I got
topography
this.
isn't a surface.
As Earth has a 3rd dimension. The surface of Earth has
Okay,
3 dimensions.
Just real quick. Okay, right.
The
So
the ellipsoid, the WS84 is not. That is just a 2-dimensional surface.
That's not
Rumpus.
real. That's not a real thing. So yeah,
Yes,
in
it
your
is.
thing you've made up, the thing that's been made up, there may be only 1 point for each position on Earth.
Well, let's
no
talk
matter-
about basketball.
but that
then.
is not
so let's
reality.
talk about basketball. Let's talk about basketball. Let's imagine I made a hole in.
We don't
Stay-
know enough.
stay with
Can I
reality,
finish
Rumpus.
a couple of basketball? So with the basketball, the equivalent situation is let's drill a little hole in the basketball and then put a house above that hole. And then you're going to say to me, define that position of the house, differentiate that between the house and the thing. And you've suddenly changed the properties of the surface of the basketball. You've given
you
2
changed the
points.
properties when you
You've
drilled the hole
changed-
into it.
You've given 2 points for the same, and it's no longer a surface when you do that.
The surface of Earth
It
is
would be
not
deflated
2-dimensional.
surface if you drilled a hole into it.
It's like, if you understand what I say about basketball, if you define the basketball surface is identical to the surface we talk about the WHS84.
If it was 2-dimensional, you could figure it out with length and width.
Point above one, that ceases to be a surface.
Two things real quick, Brandon.
Literally, what you're doing right now, Rumpus.
You ready?
You already know, Rumpus, that you're wrong, and you're digging
I know I'm
yourself a hole.
correct.
You're
No,
digging yourself
you
a
don't
hole.
understand geometry.
That's
You don't.
so deep.
Go and
I'm
look
ready.
it up.
You need
Okay, if you think I'm wrong, go and
Rumpus,
look up.
literally
Go
at
and
the
look
beginning
up
of the
on
conversation, you
Seth.
said
Do a bit
topography
of
is a
research.
surface,
Go
and then
and
later you said, well,
go
then
and
it's
do a bit
not a
of research
surface.
Hold
yourself.
your digging
Go
yourself
and do
needs
some
a
research
deep coordinate.
yourself, and you will find that I'm completely and
I'm
utterly
just saying,
correct.
bro.
Go ahead, Trev.
You
I'm just
contradicted
saying,
yourself.
you
How are
need
you
to go and
correct when you
educate
said two
yourself.
different things
Describe it.
that contradict each other? You started off the conversation with saying topography is a surface, and then later when Brandon brought up his
Yeah, the
example, you're like,
topography
well, then
has
it's not
one
a surface.
position.
You have two different heights.
The topography of something, there's only one value for a particular coordinate on the surface. There are not two. It doesn't include all the mine shafts underneath it. If we talk about a hill, the hill only has one position. There's only one elevation on the top of the hill. We do not include a mine shaft that might exist under the hill. The
What are
topography
you talking
only
about?
has one
Topography is
value.
the detailed mapping of the different depths of things.
Yeah, exactly, and that's still only one point at any one coordinate, so it's still two-dimensional. That's what topography is. If you go and look at the map,
Detailed
if you look,
mapping of
if you
depths
go and
is
get the
still
topography information,
two
hold on,
coordinates.
percent.
What are you
If
talking
you got
about,
the two,
man?
hold on, if you got the two, if you got the topography, if you got the topography information for a section of the Earth, it would just have one value for each coordinate, and that means it's just a surface. What
Yeah, for
Brandon
each
was
of the
talking about
three-
means you end up with two, which means it ceases to be a surface.
Rumpus, you do know that when Neil deGrasse Tyson said that the entire surface of the Earth actually can fit within your if you want your wrinkles in your finger, you know he was debunked by that, right? He was talking
I'm not
major
aware of what
bullshit.
it's. I think he's talking about fractals. And if you were to measure around, if you'd go to a sufficiently high resolution of your finger, so you're following the atoms, you would find you have an almost infinite length. So yes, when you start talking about fractal
Hold
measurement,
on, Rumpus. Stop rumpusing.
So,
I was answering your
Rumpus,
question, sorry.
perhaps the surface of this 2D, this idealized model that you have, you can define that as two-dimensional if you want. The actual Earth, though, would you agree that the Earth
Oh well, yeah,
is
the
not
Earth as an
two-dimensional?
object. Yeah, the Earth as an object is obviously three-dimensional. We talked about this concept of a surface, but yes,
What
obviously the
the
Earth is
fuck are you
three-dimensional.
talking
We
about,
can
Rumpus?
drill down. We can drill down, and we can go up above it,
Rumpus,
and that makes
what
it.
the
That's a
fuck are you
3D thing, but
talking
that's
about
not
then,
what
brother?
we define as the surface of the Earth.
Topography
peel
of
the
Earth
surface- if
is
you peel the skin
three-dimensional
off of an
because
apple, it's
topography
two-dimensional.
necessitates
Come on.
depth.
Yes. So what they don't understand is that math is used to describe the real world.
We don't understand that.
Okay,
do
so
we,
let's go
Brendan?
with math then. Let's go with
That's
math.
news
You
to us
don't
that math
understand
is
math.
used as a descriptive language. That's
Yeah,
news?
the preceding debate seems to me to indicate that people don't understand.
Then
It's
you're
just
not very
a
good at
description.
interpreting what's going on.
It's like one of the main
No,
flat
if
Earth
you guys-
Okay, I
you
think
know
you know what?
That math is
Why
descriptive.
don't we take a second and let Brenda explain the math to us?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 + 1 = 2.
No.
Go ahead,
explain the
Brandon.
math of
Remember,
topography,
surface
please.
is hold on. Remember, surface is a mathematical term. It's defined.
Okay, so so why doesn't length times width work
Is
on your
topography a
sphere?
mathematical term as well? Because
Yeah,
you said
that is
topography is
two-dimensional.
surface.
So show us
Two
how you
dimensional.
develop your
as well.
sphere,
It's length
Brenda.
and width. Why doesn't that
So
work
when you
on your
say that the
sphere?
Earth
Give
is
us a
three-dimensional, we
diagram of
all
you
we all
developing
agree
your
that the Earth
sphere
is three-dimensional. We all agree that the Earth is three-dimensional. But when we talk about the surface of the Earth, by definition, it's a 2D thing because it's a
And
mathematical
why can't I
term.
figure
topography
out
of
the
the
amount
Earth,
of
by
paint
definition, is
by
a 3D
multiplying
thing
length
because
times
it has
width?
detailed
Still the
mapping of depth.
surface. It doesn't measure depth; it measures height. Come on, it's still flat. It's still a
Yeah,
surface.
relative to each other,
Well,
that's depth.
It's a surface.
Length times width. I'm afraid, Brian, you can. This
Show
surface
us you
doesn't have.
developing your surface.
Yeah.
Right,
Show,
that's two
draw a
dimensions, X
sphere
and
and
Y,
then show us
length and
you
width.
show
But no,
what
Brian,
you do to
Brian,
develop.
you
Hold on,
can't.
Chill just
Soccer
disagreed
ball,
with
look at the
Rumpus.
surface of the
The
soccer
Globers
ball.
are
It's
disagreeing now because
two-dimensional.
Chill said it measures height, whereas Rumpus says it has no
You-
like a z-axis whatsoever. It doesn't measure height or depth or whatever.
That's the
Measures
definition
height
of a
from
surface.
measures height relative to the surface, which on the Earth is sea level.
How do you what do you say to that, Rumpus? He's disagreeing with you.
No, we're saying the same thing in different
No,
ways.
you're saying height
That's
relative to
Saying
sea
the
level,
same thing in
right?
different
Well,
ways.
That
height-
means
That's
z-axis.
three
The height
Height is
relative to the
z-axis.
surface
Not
is
the
three-dimensional.
z-axis is just a dimension off of a surface.
Yeah, which makes it three-dimensional. If you have
Exactly,
a
so
surface
you
and
guys are
then say
disagreeing with each other.
I'm, if you say I've got a surface and it's two-dimensional, and then I say I'm now this is what makes it three-dimensional. You then need a third coordinate, and that makes it a three-dimensional thing. Now, if you
My
say
whole
I'm doing
point is,
Yep.
You can't. He's saying 3 dimensions. He can't do 2-dimensional math on a sphere. Okay,
Yes,
he's got to
you can.
use
The same
pi,
thing
which
you
is
do a
3
map
dimensions.
on a flat plane. It's still a surface. There's no difference between a
Earlier,
surface
he
of
said
a
he could figure out the amount of paint with 2 dimensions.
of a
But
sphere
it's not
is
length. It's not width times length, though, Brian. That's the key point you need to understand. A two-dimensional surface. Hold on, Brian. A two-dimensional surface does not mean you can work out the area just by saying length times width. That's the problem I think you've got here. A two-dimensional surface.
Well, you tell me the 2 dimensions on the sphere that'll work. That you could multiply to work.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I'm sorry, bro.
What 2 dimensions are you referring to on a sphere? Because I'm talking about X and Y.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about latitude and longitude. I mean, you're assuming. I mean, for instance, let's suppose I had a
longitude uses pi, which is 3 dimensions. That's why there's 3 lines in the symbol.
Pi isn't 3 dimensions.
What did he say? What did he say was
God, pi is.
Pi.
So you can't make a map because a map on a flat surface on a plane.
Did he say pi
would
was
not be-
3-dimensional?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
What did he mean by pi? You mean the mathematical term for the ratio of circumference to diameter?
Yeah, he doesn't know anything.
No, I'm talking about
Rumpus.
X times Y. He's saying 2. He's saying 2.
You think pi is 3-dimensional?
Dude, I'll retract that. Okay, but what I'm going to stick with is that what 2 dimensions are you saying you can mathematically do the? Because I'm using X and Y, so you can't measure X times Y being the 2 dimensions on a sphere.
That's correct.
You'll get the wrong answer. You'll get the wrong answer. So
you won't get the right answer. Correct.
He said he could use the surface of a sphere to figure out the amount of paint, but with 2 dimensions. That is incorrect. X times Y
you would get
is
the wrong
incorrect.
answer for topography. He was right. You would get the right answer.
You know
for
what?
surface.
What he's trying to tell? What he's trying to tell you is that it's 4/3 pi r cubed.
Now that's the volume.
That's the volume.
And the
Basically,
reason it
Rumpus
has a
was wrong to
cube
say
in
that
there.
topography
No, it's
is
4
surface.
pi r squared.
They are
is the
different.
area that it's surface.
I said
Roberts don't
4/3
understand it's simple math, man.
You're getting mixed up between volume and
pi r
surface.
cubed, you dumb bitch.
Rumpus, you got mixed up by
Oh my God! No,
between
you've got hold on,
surface
well,
and
you-
topography.
No, I
Topography
haven't.
accounts for depth.
4/3 pi r cubed is what, Rumpus?
The volume of a sphere.
Right.
Not
Is
the,
that
not the
now what is that? It has a cube.
It's the
Which
volume.
means it has 3 dimensions.
That's the volume, but we're not
That's the
talking about
volume,
the
we're not
volume.
talking
We're
about
not
the
talking about the
volume.
volume. Are we talking about a surface? It's not the same thing as a volume, is it, you moron?
So what 2 dimensions are you referring to? Tell me the 2 dimensions.
My God, we're talking about surfaces, and then suddenly you introduce and saying, "Oh, look, a volume's not the same as a surface."
Can
yes,
anybody
we know.
explain to me what this?
Jesus
Can anybody
Christ.
explain why we're arguing about this? Does anybody know why?
It's basically to
we're
show,
arguing
to
about
highlight Rumpus.
Yeah, because they're trying to say mathematically a globe is. They're trying to use.
has no depth.
Oh my God!
By his logic, they've never checked the topography of the moon to know the impact basins and all that stuff. They only ever have 2 axes, and the moon is perfectly spherical.
Incorrect.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Nobody thinks that.
The area of a
percent.
surface of a sphere is 4 pi r squared.
Here's the point. In surveying, they treat the Earth as 2-dimensional. They treat the surface of Earth as 2-dimensional water level, the sea level. I mean, and it's bullshit. It doesn't work in 2 dimensions.
It absolutely does.
Yes, it does. It's
4 pi r.
I have a question for
squared is
Rumpus
the
to finish
surface
this
of a
off.
sphere.
So, did they check the topography of the moon and see that there are higher elevations than others and
Oh,
impact
gee.
basins?
Do
and
you
all
think?
that?
Do you think that physicists forgot to
Brendan,
check
that's a
the moon
question
has
for
elevation?
Rumpus.
Do you,
5%.
do you
What they would have
actually
done-
think that?
What they would have done is they would have said, like for the Earth, they'd have said, right, we're going to define a sphere and a surface and a radius for this surface, and then we're going to say, right, what is the 3rd dimension above that, i.e., the elevation above this for this particular point, and then you
And it
would have
won't match a 2-dimensional measurement. It will not
How do they
match.
map out that third dimension?
So now you're saying 2-dimensional measurements are wrong. So what you're saying is,
No, I'm
see,
not
that
saying-
makes you retarded.
Hold up,
Sorry,
hold up.
bro.
You're saying for
You're
topography
retarded
they
because you didn't
had to
understand
have
what
the
I said.
third
You just
dimension.
made up.
Maps. You're saying that flat maps on one on your desk cannot give any topography because they're flat.
No,
right?
we're talking about math, bro.
That's exactly
And you,
the same thing we're
so,
talking about with a sphere. Okay, there's no.
so if you're going to use 2 dimensions to survey the surface of Earth, if you're going to use 2 dimensions, it will be incorrect.
But we don't do it to
Brian, I'm
survey the
holding-
Earth.
I'm trying to
Brian,
You have to do curvature corrections. You would have to introduce-
the way we do
Yeah.
it, the way we survey
Hold
the
on,
Earth is
Brian.
we have a surface and then we have an elevation with respect to that surface. So we do it in 3D, but what's defined as a surface is ellipsoid, and we then say this is the surface we measure relative to. We know that the Earth's 3D. We measure
Perfect.
elevations relative to the surface, which gives you a 3D coordinate, but the surface is two-dimensional.
You have to
But
put
terms
in
of
curvature
topography-
corrections.
For topography, you would need to add that third dimension, correct? On top of the
No,
surface,
you can
there's
have,
two
no,
dimensions.
you can say at this latitude. You can say at this latitude and longitude, you have a value for that is your elevation, but you can say the point,
which is the third
the base
dimension.
of that thing.
Exactly. And that's necessary for topography, right?
I think what's the most important thing.
Hold up. Can I just get a confirmation
third
from
dimension on a
Rumpus
topographical
that
map, please?
third
Exactly.
elevation value would be necessary
Yes,
for topography?
but we're talking about
correct?
sea level, dumbass.
I know.
Right, I understand
So
completely.
if
What I'm trying to
if you say there's
but
a third
listen,
dimensional
what
on a
we're
cube-
forgetting,
It's impossible to make a point.
we're forgetting is this,
Yeah, it
Rumpus.
is.
You're trying to make a point, Rumpus, and nobody knows what point you're trying to make. Can you please reiterate the point?
Well,
you're trying
no,
to
so
make?
Branch, what the fuck are you
So
doing?
maybe you'd understand.
Right.
All right, I'm going to
there
change
are
the
some
subject
complicated-
now because I don't know how many people actually give a shit if the surface is 2 or 3D. I want to ask
Right, there
Brenda
is-
a question if you don't mind. Brenda, how does time travel impact the use of GPS satellites? How do they integrate the aspects of time travel into the devices to make them work?
I'm having supper and I have a mouthful right now, right at this moment. Sorry.
Oh, that's
Give me a
convenient.
second. Give me a second.
Okay. We'll give you a second.
And he doesn't
Yeah.
mean time travel; he means time dilation.
I mean
bro,
time
bro,
travel.
bro,
Actually, I do.
Rumpus.
Time dilation is
Dilating
time
time
travel.
right now with this second.
Well, technically, I suppose it could be thought of as time travel, but what about it? What about the time dilation? There's a difference. Things closer to a gravitational source experience time slower. So time moves faster for clocks that are in orbit than for those that are on the ground.
So what do they have to do
fractionally.
to the GPS satellites or the receivers in order for them to get them to work? What is happening? Describe to us what is happening.
I don't know much about GPS. Why would you think I would? I don't know
Because
the
you
details.
guys always bring this up as an example to prove time dilation. So I'm
There's a
trying to find
difference
someone
in
who knows
time.
what the fuck they're talking about.
Well,
Rumpus
they
doesn't
would.
know.
Well, Rumpus would.
No, he
but
doesn't.
I would
Because
imagine.
I asked him
I
to
would-
describe it earlier and he couldn't. What about you, paid NASA shill?
that's
Can you
bollocks.
describe how time dilation
Bollocks, Brandon.
is?
You can't say
Really?
things like that.
Oh, really?
That
Really?
is-
She
I
described
think
it quite well.
that's
as a matter of
verging
fact.
on being untruthful, I'm afraid.
Correct me
described it
then.
quite
Tell me
well.
how it's integrated into the GPS system. Tell me
Right.
how it works.
Okay, you've never asked me that question like that before. Right. So because the satellites are moving at about 17,000 miles an hour, that means there is a relativistic,
That's
special
a lot.
relativistic. Be quiet. There's a special relativistic effect you have to allow for to say this time is affected by that. Also, from their height, there is another time dilation of general relativity. So there are two relativistic effects that determine how much time is changing. So the atomic clocks therefore run at a different speed to the ones down here. And the way that GPS thing that you pick up on your thing works is they send a time from the satellite to you so that you can then measure how long that thing took to get to you. And then you need 3 or 4 satellites for it to arrive at your GPS receiver, and they send you a time signal. And your GPS thing says, aha, I'm going to make allowances for the relativistic time dilation that's occurred for those clocks and the signal. And then from that, and from you can then work out it took, you can say this satellite, and the satellite tells you where it is in space, and it tells you what the time is. So you then have 4 or 5 satellites telling you where they are and what time they have. And from the time they've got and the time it took for the signal to arrive to you, you can then work out the distance and the position. And from those 4 or 5 things, your little GPS thing works out those several things together, and using the 4 or 5 satellites, and then ends up.
So you don't know.
I think his question
I
was
just told you,
regarding
you
the
stupid
allowances.
moron.
Rumpus,
Jesus
the question
Christ.
was
Okay.
specifically
In
about
other
the
words, to
allowances.
put your
How does it
two-dimensional
affect the
surface.
I just told you the answers.
Go ahead,
What's the
Percentage.
problem?
Jesus
No,
Christ.
to put a two-dimensional surface in 3 dimensions, you got to do something by dilating time.
Yeah, so Rumpus, you said it makes the allowances
You can have
for
elevations. The worth is 3D. No one disputed that. But you're not at the surface. You're not at the WGS84. You've got an elevation with respect to it. So yes, it's doing 3D calculations. It's not a surface for you.
let's not go back
Okay,
to
Rumpus,
the 2D,
you said
3D.
it makes
Go
the
ahead.
allowances to account for the time difference, or like the time dilated or whatever from the 3 or 4 satellites, right? How does it make those allowances? What is actually being done?
It pumps them into the equations of Einstein, both GR and SR.
Yeah.
So every single person's satellite, or like, you know, their phone or whatever device that's receiving these things is doing, like, you know, these super quick calculations.
It's only a square root. It only involves a square root and some other stuff. It's not complicated.
Computers love to do this shit.
The time dilation from 2 different
If
effects.
the distance expands, why would they have to expand the time if you're expanding the distance?
Two simple
Every
one-line
time
equations.
the data's transmitted.
It's
They're not
two
that
simple
difficult
one-line
equations.
equations. Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man.
Even if it was more complicated.
No, you don't know. You're a moron.
No,
Even
you're
if it
trying
was-
to say that it's
You have
as
a
simple as that.
computer.
You haven't shown it whatsoever.
Notice,
You want
Brandon,
the math?
I'm not
You
saying
want
that
the
kind of
math?
stuff.
Google it yourself, for Christ's sake.
So you want me to go through the maths for you percent? Do you want me to do that?
No, don't go
Yeah,
through
show
the math.
us.
These guys barely understand that 1 plus 1 equals 2.
Let's have some mock
Yeah, I mean-
numbers, and you show us how it crunches the time.
Oh, fuck you.
I would love it too, because it comes down to fucking. Watch how stupid of a fucking number it comes out to. Yeah, do the math, Rumpus.
It's what GPS, it's what the designers use, Brian. It's what you rely on and what works.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so just show us just one little distance and watch this, folks.
I'll tell you what, okay, I'll do a presentation perhaps next couple of days. I'll go and prepare a nice little thing with all the equations in it, and then percent can have a look at them, and I'll go
Okay,
through
but
them.
before the equations, show us that the time's actually being dilated in the first place.
How do you want me to show you?
That's been
I'm in my
demonstrated.
bedroom. What do you want me to show you?
I don't know. Show us that there's
It's
different
that
times to begin
percent.
with.
Percent.
You want me to take you up to the satellite and then show you with a clock?
Or do we have to
do you want me
just-
to, so do you want me to take you to see an atomic
No,
clock
it's
on the
been
ground
proven.
and then take you up into a satellite and then say, look, all of the clocks running more slowly? Is that what you want me to do?
No, this is what I want you to do.
Just
I want you to
assume
take a
that
laser
presupposition
beam and
of them
fire it
having
forward.
different times
No,
is
they've
correct.
done this like 50 years ago where they put clocks on airplanes and flew them
Exactly.
around.
Yeah, I
This
know.
is what
But let's talk
proves it.
about it in real terms. I want you to take a laser beam. Wait, Rumpus. Rumpus, I want you to take a laser beam and fire it forward, and then take a laser beam and fire it left. And then I want you to show me how the distance between the one I'm firing forward shrinks in real dumbass life. It's a retarded fucking theory, dude.
What the Michelson-Morley experiment did. Michelson-Morley did this 120, 30 years ago.
So the distance between the laser I'm shining forward shrinks in real life. And time
Michelson-Morley did not
changes.
prove time
It's
dilation. It
retarded,
proved
dude.
that the Earth wasn't moving.
Relative to what?
I'm firing to the left. I'm standing here firing one left to the left and one straight.
Rumpus,
You need someone.
Rumpus,
you
if you
need someone
really
else
want to
to
get into
observe
this
it.
shit, Rumpus.
In your time
Rumpus,
frame.
you know what? You're talking about time dilation because of speed, but what about the dilation of time because of gravity?
That's what I. If you listen to what I said a moment ago,
It's
when
doing
I was
both,
talking about how
Brad.
GPS works, I distinctly mentioned that you had to allow for general relativity, i.e., the effect of time dilation due to gravity, and I mentioned the time dilation due to special relativity. I made a point of saying there were two effects, and you obviously didn't
Oh,
listen.
hold on a second, though. Are you sure you made a point?
So
Well,
if
not
I
to
can
you,
answer,
you didn't understand what I said. Go ahead, Brenda.
No,
I
it
can-
sounds to me like you made 2 points.
I can answer
Not one
Brian's general question, which is if you're traveling at relativistic speeds and you shine a flashlight ahead of you, right, the light still just travels at the speed of light. And if you shine the light behind you and you're traveling a significant percentage of the speed of light, the light would also travel at the speed of light. The difference is that people on Earth watching you would see that light and it would be shifted towards the red.
Yeah,
Can you just tell us real quick for the audience? Can you just tell us how fast?
No,
Hold on a second, Branch.
hold on, really quick.
Oh, Branch, shut up, Branch.
It has fuck all to do with satellites and calculating GPS.
Actually, no, it's got quite a bit to do with
Yes.
It doesn't. It has nothing
Branch,
to do with it.
The frequency of
It
the
has
waves are
fuck all
light.
to do with it.
Radio waves are light, and they have a frequency. And so the frequency of a satellite traveling at 17,000 miles an hour will, relative to you, will be shifted towards the blue or the red, depending.
Right. Well, you know what, sweetheart? Nobody even calculates that when we talk about GPS coordinates.
Why would
Yes,
Jeff
they
you're
do.
saying it
What do
relatively?
you know about the
You're
GPS system?
talking
Nothing does
absolute
it
bullshit.
all the damn time. If it doesn't, you'll be off
You're
about
talking
10
absolute
miles.
bullshit. You have no
Why would
idea
it
what
shift
know
if
about the
the
design of the
length
GPS
is
system?
dilated?
It's not flat. What do you know about the design of the GPS system? Have you read any documentation on it at all?
Oh, we don't use random.
No,
we don't,
you haven't.
okay,
right, that's fine.
when
So you
we-
know nothing
when-
about this
when
at
we-
all.
when we
We don't
calculate-
believe your ad hoc bullshit.
Kruger, you can
When
pronounce
we
on it. Well
calculate
done,
it,
you
we
moron.
we do not use the relativistic properties
Yes,
of.
we
How
do.
do you know?
It'll
You
be
haven't
off
designed a GPS
10
receiver, have
miles.
you?
Rumpus?
Use
I
magic
know
as
we
far as
don't.
you're
I
concerned.
know we
You have no
Rumpus?
idea what goes on
Hey,
inside.
hey, Rumpus, you were wrong. Just a minute, Branch.
Just a second ago, Rumpus. You just said that there's only two things we calculate for, which is the speed and the dilation.
That
because
is
of
the
gravity.
relativistic speed, you moron.
Hey. He said it's basically the speed you're moving at.
No, what speed
And,
the satellites are moving at.
And the dilation because of gravity, right? Those
What
are the
about the
two
speed
things
that
we
you're
calculate.
moving at?
Yes, as I said.
Those are the two things. The only two things.
What about the speed you're moving
Those are
at?
the only two things
Relative.
we
It's
give
all
a fuck
relative.
about,
It's all
motherfucker.
relativity, my God.
This shit that fucking Brenda's saying
I wanna-
is absolute fucking pop bottles.
Hello.
No,
Brenda, go ahead.
Rumpus,
Talking.
I'm talking. Rumpus, you were wrong about one thing. Do you want to know what it is? You said that Branch could pronounce the words, and that is incorrect. He cannot pronounce the words.
Right, thanks.
Okay, why don't you
had
explain
me
for the
worried there for a
audience
moment,
what a
Brenda.
relativistic? Why don't you explain for the audience what a relativist? Why don't you explain for the audience what a relativistic speed is? How fast you got to be going?
Well, everything, if anything, if you're moving at all, it becomes relative. It's just very, very small.
So everything
do you want
that
50,
moves
hold on,
ever
do you want
is
50%?
moving at a
Hold on, do you want
relativistic
50%? The sort of the intelligent question would be, to what speed would you have to go to get a 50% time dilation? That would be an intelligent question.
50% time dilation. 50%.
In other words, time would be running at half the speed that it would normally be. That would be an intelligent question.
50%.
Yes, half. So in other words, you experience time at half.
Wait, hold on.
Jesus Christ. Basic English seems to be beyond you. Basic comprehension of
Rumpus.
sentences.
Told you.
Rumpus, are you saying Rumpus? Are you saying 50%?
Right, let's try it again. There's an intelligent question would have been, how fast would you have to go relative to the speed of light for you to experience a 50% time dilation?
No, you guys were
When you
using
say
the
how
term.
fast you have to go,
you guys
do you
were
mean the
using the
satellite
term when
or the
things are
person on
traveling
Earth?
at. You guys were using the term at relativistic
what Brenda
speed.
just did.
Now I'm wondering.
What Brenda just did, she totally took this conversation away from satellites and GPS into this weird fucking place that Rumpus wants to talk about. Now we're moving close to the speed of light.
About it. You guys seem to want to talk about it.
That's right.
That was a
Now we're talking about.
I want to hear what Jeremy wants to
Now
say.
we're talking
Jeremy
about.
wants- Jeremy's
exactly the same
confused.
subject.
He thinks
Listen.
Jeremy thinks there's a
What-
minimum
what-
speed
what
you have
you
to go at,
do- what
and below
you
that
do
speed you see no
doing now-
relativistic effects.
Does he? Okay.
Right. Here's the thing. All relative effects that we talk about when you go close to the speed of light, and by close I mean 50%. Or you know what? You're considering.
You get a relativistic effect if you move at 1 mile an hour, but it's incredibly small.
Everything that we know or have predicted that occurs when you get close to the speed of light is theory.
It becomes obvious.
It's
You know,
theory.
we're talking
Your theory,
microseconds.
motherfucker.
We're talking
None of that shit
microseconds.
is proven.
Yes, it
All
is.
theory.
They took atomic
Prove-
clocks, put them on
no,
airplanes 50
no,
years ago
no.
or so, and flew them around and found out there was
Your
a difference.
science doesn't prove anything anyway.
I think it was less than
Well,
microseconds actually.
yeah, listen. Relatively.
There you go.
Told you.
Yeah,
Not
I ought to get to just
Told
say
ya.
that. Yeah,
We're
I'll just get to say
talking
that. Shut him
about.
up.
We're talking about getting close to the speed of light, right?
Yes, we
When
are.
we start
My God,
considering
for God's
time
sake, get to your
dilation
point.
that occur when you get close to the speed of light, that is all theory.
Time dilation
It's all
occurs when you
theoretical.
move
It's
it
all
when
bullshit.
you're walking down the street. It's just you probably can't notice it.
No, okay. But
Yeah, that's an
when we talk
argument from
about getting
ignorance.
closer,
Shut up,
You have
Shaq.
no idea it's happening because you can't prove it, and yet you claim that it's happening.
we talk about
Because
getting
it's been
closer to the speed of light.
demonstrated. They've flown them around in airplanes. Notice the difference.
And what was like 100,000 of a second difference?
That's correct.
Yeah,
A very small amount, but
Less
it
than
still
that.
happened.
Less than that. Much less than that.
No, it
I
was
think it's
bullshit
something like
It
nanoseconds. I
still
think.
happened.
And and it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
And it
So
makes a difference.
absolutely, GPS would immediately
And
get
what
an error
picked
of
up that
several miles
100,000
if
of
it
a
wasn't
second?
corrected for.
GPS would, because they're traveling and they're higher and they're traveling pretty damn quick at like 17,500 miles per hour, you would definitely see, and you're measuring very precisely, you would definitely see the difference if you did not include relativistic effects.
It's miles. In fact, the error
No,
would be miles over
because
a
it's not in a
12
perfect
hours.
vacuum. The thing that they're measuring it in
doesn't
is not a
matter.
perfect vacuum.
It doesn't
So
fucking
as it
matter
goes
for
up,
this.
According to
as
relativity,
it goes up, it's entering into a less dense environment.
Incorrect.
The
Well,
matter
that's-
is,
that
you know,
has
spreading
nothing to
out
do with
more, what have
relativity.
you.
I'm sorry.
So
Who
it's going to affect
here is
the thing.
disagreeing?
That has nothing to do with
You
relativity.
know, the funny thing is, right? You got Brenda and you got fucking Rumpus. Nobody's actually disagreeing with them.
Yeah,
I'm disagreeing with this though. Listen, I'm disagreeing with this. According,
Basically, what I'm hearing,
You're saying
what I'm
relativity,
hearing is
relativity
this.
isn't a thing, you
What
moron.
I'm
hold on, Chucky. Hold on, Chucky. Chucky, the whole device doesn't shrink. Just one side of it.
I'm asking you by how much.
Not the whole
Do you
device,
have
just one
any
side of it.
clue?
What
Do you have any clue by how much it shrinks?
right, okay. You know, guys, seriously, if you
A different.
I just realized you guys were listening to dead air because my microphone was muted. Sorry. Godzilla 37, $5. Minus Rumpus and Brenda. Great show again, Brenda. Thank you very much. Yeah, I decided to let Rumpus or Brenda back in. He claims to be turning a new leaf. I'm sure I will get bitten in the end for it. But it is what it is. And Rumpus is hard to ignore for many people. Thank you very much.
Whatever it
Lower
is.
at the top of the building.
There is no time
bottom of the
dilation.
building. There is time dilation.
Yes.
Show me the atom actually moving at the same speed.
You're a science denier. This has been proven experiment after experiment. And
It
it's
hasn't
allowed
been
for
proven
in-
whatsoever.
It's allowed for in
It has.
GPS.
The other thing is,
Bro, your
It's
science
not
doesn't prove
calculate
anything. Quit
the temperature
lying.
and pressure variation.
GPS allows for this, otherwise it wouldn't work.
The other demonstration.
GPS does not rely on it. Mickelson Morley showed that the Earth is not spinning. That light travels the same speed. without moving
You're
Earth.
just denying science, percent. You're just completely
No, I'm
asserting
denying
with
your
no
rhetoric,
basis.
'cause it's
You're
wrong.
just asserting that with no basis except your own ignorance. You've got no
Mickelson
evidence.
Morley
You
failed
have
to
no
show that
evidence of what
light
you're saying.
travels at different speeds. It travels at the same speed because the Earth is not moving.
Speed all the time. That's relativity. Right?
Show the Earth moving. See, look at your rhetoric is like a house of cards.
Thanks,
Depends
Bob.
on
Hey guys, I have something
You know what?
interesting to
Hey,
share,
smart
another
motherfuckers.
perspective.
Motherfuckers, right? What about Sagnet distortion?
Segment distortion. What the fuck?
He's talking about the Sagnet effect.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Sagnet,
Bob.
yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, he's talking about Sanya.
Brandon, you never played my little 90-second video, man. It would have caused for it would shut them right up.
I will, but I want us to look at this together because it's another perspective on this whole issue.
Okay, roger that.
I'll read it, even though it's gonna be annoying. Hey, Peyton S. Shill, shut the fuck up.
Are we done time dilation for a while?
Yeah, it's on time dilation. Popular science frequently promotes the idea that GPS serves not only as a means of position determination, but also as a convenient test for Einstein's theory of relativity. The claim made is that if certain adjustments were not made to counter the predictions of this theory, calculated positions would quickly become very inaccurate. Hence, anyone with a functioning GPS receiver has already confirmed the theory to be correct, and the pizza delivery guy would not have arrived at your house were it not for the adjustments. The claim, however, is false, and the science gurus who promote it should know better than to do so. Fact is, it would not matter whether such adjustments are made or not. Why the
Who
reason
is
has
this?
to do with some basic facts. It doesn't matter, Brenda. Facts about how GPS receivers work.
AlternativePhysics.org, i.e. bollocks.
Shut up. We're gonna view it on its merits. We're gonna
Could
talk
you
about
put
it.
the
So
link in
just
the
shush,
text
shush.
chat, please? Could you put the
Could
link
you
in the
wait till I'm
text chat?
fucking done and then I will?
Yeah, hold your.
Sorry.
To understand
Sorry.
this, we
I just
first.
wanted.
Okay, no problem.
Let him finish.
Brandon, finish,
I
bitch.
just want to interrupt.
To understand this, we first need to examine the claims more specifically. The following points are made in regards to relativity and GPS operation. 1. Relativity theory predicts the clocks aboard the GPS satellites will run faster than clocks on Earth by 38 microseconds a day. That's the claim, right? The satellite clocks are slowed down by this amount so as not to match the speed of clocks on Earth. If these adjustments were not made, position determination would be inaccurate by about 11 kilometers a day. This inaccuracy would grow steadily. Is that correct? That is your position?
That's why I told him do the math, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I think that's pretty fair summary of the claims. Yep.
Okay.
The interesting thing about like the Sagnac distortion is that it only happens on a globe.
It's got nothing to do with being on a globe, you moron.
Yes, it does, you dumb
No,
bitch.
it doesn't, you twat. You can measure the effect just by having a laboratory experiment where it wouldn't make any difference. You could just by moving it in the experiment, you can determine these things.
I'm sorry. Listen. Look, Rumpus. You're not
Anyway,
always right,
Brandon's
bro.
in the middle of let's not.
When you're wrong, you're very wrong.
I'm completely correct.
When you are wrong, Rumpus,
you're interrupting Brandon's presentation here. I'm happy to talk to you, but let's Brandon finish what he was saying. It's rude to
That's okay. It's quite a bit longer than I thought it would be. So go ahead.
Well, what is the general point?
I'll read through it and get to the general
point
general
is
point.
that everybody's false on this.
Go ahead. You guys can discuss.
Both argue with each other. That's hilarious.
I'm sorry. Okay, so no, I actually want to really press you on this, right?
Go ahead.
Why do you think that the shape of the Earth doesn't have effect on the Sagnac distortion?
Because the Sagnac effect is the result of motion. So it could happen whether or not you could be a banana-shaped Earth and you could still have a Sagnac effect. But obviously, the fact that we measure, that we use the Sagnac effect to determine the fact that the Earth's rotating, and as Bob did, well done, Bob, it determined that there is a rotation.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on, the Sagnac effect is used in a fiber optic gyro.
Right.
to measure
Okay.
movement, and then from that we know the Earth's rotating.
Rumpus, before you go on, I want you to do one thing, bro.
I'm not your brother.
Google search Sagnac distortion on Eastern and Western celestial hemispheres.
I was going to ask if you were talking about
the Earth
the
rotates,
Sagnac
it will
distortion
cause an
or the
effect.
Sagnac.
Do it.
That's a function of rotation.
Oh my God,
the Earth could be banana-shaped,
hey,
rotating.
What did I say? It has to do with the fucking Earth being a globe, bitch.
No, it doesn't.
The Earth could be banana. How many times have I said the Earth could be banana-shaped, and you'd still get the effect? You moron!
I think Branch is trying to prove that the Earth is a sphere.
Oh, she probably just pour water on it.
Oh,
The Sagnac effect. The Sagnac effect proves we're not moving.
Actually, what I'm trying to prove.
No, the Sagnac effect. That's how we use it. It's used to determine. That's how planes do it. They use this effect to determine where they are. They have to allow for rotation of the Earth in there.
What I'm trying to prove is that
water conforms to the forces put upon it.
Right. So pour a cup of water on your computer, Branch, and see.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Check
trying
it
to say,
out.
look. When we consider Sagnac distortions, it's all about hemispheres, bro.
What is
That's what it's all about.
No, it's not. It's about movement and rotation. And it could be banana-shaped. How many times
Within
have I say
hemispheres,
this?
Oh, that's three.
Branch.
At least.
Hey, Branch. What is the Sagnac effect? What is it? Please describe it.
Good question.
It's when your neck sags.
Hey, Brandon, if I repost that, will you play it in the background?
Hold on, it's a good question from Brenda. I'd really like to hear the answer to this.
Yeah.
It's all about inertia, man.
Oh my God.
No, it's not. That's not it. That's not it.
I expected a bad answer, but I didn't expect one as bad as that. Good question.
The Sagnac
Well, at least you
effect.
gave an answer.
It's
She
all
was just going to say
about, it's
Google
all
it.
about fucking inertia. That's the Sagnac.
It's not about inertia. It's not, that's the physical gyroscopes are about the conservation of momentum. The Sagnac effect is due to the invariance of the speed of light.
No.
All right, so it's about the
Listen.
inertia of the light.
What I've seen so far is that hey, Brenda and Rumpus love the way their own dick tastes. You know? They like to suck each other.
Notice you never. You always do this.
Regardless of what other
It's never
people say,
attacking the argument. You go
regardless
back
of what other people
all the time,
say,
don't you?
you know,
You little
that's
wanker.
basically what it
You
comes
never
down to.
tackle the argument. You just much prefer to attack the person and bring up irrelevances. We could just talk about how obnoxious little wanker
It's
you
in
are all
general.
the time.
Put it in
We don't
general,
do
Brandon.
that. We talk about the subject, and you keep on trying to counter argument with just abuse. You moron!
How
You're an obnoxious little wanker. You're clearly one of the most obnoxious little wankers I've ever turned up on a panel. You'll never stick to the subject, and because Brenda just embarrassed you because it showed you want to talk about the standing and you knew nothing
Can't
about
hear
it,
anything
and
you
the
guys are
only
saying.
response you've got is to abuse people, you little wanker.
Hey.
That's
What a
all I've got
wanker.
to say
Listen,
about that.
I found it hilarious.
No one can hear anything.
Stop.
No one can hear anything.
Hey, stagnant distortion.
They can hear their own voices.
Stagnant
Though.
distortion.
That's why they're talking, to hear their own voices.
I'm not talking
Doesn't
at
matter
all.
if other people can hear.
It's Branch that's talking, not us.
It's Branch, and you guys won't silence him, but you'll silence us.
Yeah, and he
right?
won't stick to the subject because he's embarrassed. Brenda just embarrassed
I
him by
think if
saying
we
he knew nothing
voted,
about
all
the
of us
Staniak
would
effect,
vote
despite the
to
fact he
hear-
raised the subject.
rather hear
Oh
Branch
my
than
God!
Brenda.
Wait, hold on a second. Brenda.
Yeah?
Really embarrassed. What's sound embarrassed?
What's up? What's up? Huh? What's up?
Definitely turning this person down.
Do I sound embarrassed right now?
You sound like a wanker.
No. You know what?
You
I
should be
sound like.
embarrassed, you little wanker.
Yeah, you are.
Listen, you know what I sound? I sound like someone
You sound like fucking champ.
Is what you are.
who's calling you and Brenda out.
Yeah, but not by science. You're just abusing
being
Brenda
the
and myself.
dick suckers
You've got
that
no
you
scientific
actually are.
argument, have you, you little tosser?
I'm sorry. Listen.
Yeah, you're good. We'll start apologising more. And
Just
stick to the
like to
subject.
suck penis.
Brenda embarrassed you about the fact you know nothing about the Staniak effect, and the only response you had to do was
Hey.
to start abusing people. Classic ad hom, you little moron.
Hey, I told you already that it's all
did
about
you?
inertia.
Yeah,
Stagnant
you're wrong.
effect
You're
is
utterly
all about
wrong.
inertia,
Give us a
motherfucker.
No,
citation.
it's
Go and
not.
find a citation in which it says the Staniak effect revolves around inertia. Go on.
Aries failure,
motherfucker.
Okay, you know what? Do this. Why don't you do this? Hey,
Go
why
on.
don't
Give us
you
a
do this?
citation to prove it.
Google
Back up what you're
stagnant-
saying with some evidence.
Google stagnant
Come on,
distortion.
give us a Google link. Give us a link in Google then that backs up what you just said.
Yeah, I think you should Google stagnant.
No, you give us a
distortion.
link. We don't want to misrepresent you. Give us a link
No,
to a citation that supports what you just said.
Honestly, bro, I would do it
Little wanker.
if you wasn't such a dickhead.
Go
But
provide the
because
citation.
you
You
have
just
such
made a
a big
claim.
penis
You've just made a
in your
claim.
head,
Back it up. Anywhere
because you have
we'll
such a
we'll
big
accept
penis.
any stupid link. We'll go
Listen,
and look at it.
look,
Come
look,
on,
look,
give us
look.
a link. Why
Hey.
won't you go and do that?
Because
Look at my
because you had-
channel, dude. I
because
got
you
it
had
in my
this
channel
penis
backed
shaped.
up.
Because you had this so penis shaped, I want you
Here we
to
go.
Google
This
it
is it.
yourself.
You won't do that. Yeah, you just much prefer to talk about penises. So you've got a penis obsession or something. You've got a
You
problem
did get him
there.
to say.
You project
Well-
your branch. Is that something that's on your mind all the time?
He's
Why is it on your mind?
he's a Nathan Ballsuckler.
Yeah,
You did get
it's
him
on
to
your
say.
mind,
You
isn't
did.
it, branch?
Oh
You
God!
obviously
You did
think
get
you
him to
about
say.
it a lot. It
Look
comes
at
to your
this,
mind.
look at
It's
this,
disturbing.
look at this. I got
Doesn't it,
both.
branch? Why is that? Why
got
are you got
both.
an
I
interest in
got
that?
Why do you
both.
keep saying Brian? My name ain't. I'm not the one talking, Rumpus.
I said branch, not Brian.
Hey, let's
Okay, my
talk
bad,
about this
sorry.
thing Brian put in here. You guys can figure out whose dick is bigger later. What is this, Brian?
Okay, that I got the horizon on the ground, and I show the capsule that Felix Baumgartner in is completely level. Even when it's taken off, it maintains level. It tips only at one point in the whole experience. So heavy, it hangs down from the string, and I show. So then I show the same horizon that I mark off from the same camera. I'm not trying to say what angle or any of that. All I'm showing is that the horizon from the
showing us
camera at the
anything, Brian.
ground line.
You're not showing us anything, Brian.
Oh shit! No, that's my fault.
Over about through that little window or through the door, right? Yeah. Okay. Through the door, yeah, it's flat. Gotcha.
You should see it now.
Right, yeah. Can see something now.
Okay, so yeah, I think this has been talked about before. Go ahead, Brian. So
Two balloons. Oh, right.
we see the horizon on the ground.
Yes,
right?
I marked the horizon. I marked the horizon at the ground, like I said, and the same camera, okay, it switches. I mean, it shows high altitude, the same camera from the same view. So
one's inside the thing, another one's
why are
outside.
you? Is your name Brian, dude? Is your name Brian?
Why have
Okay,
you
so
got
it shows them up there, stationary above the winds. It shows them stationary up above the winds. For God's sake, man.
Rumpus, your penis covered right now, bro. Nobody wants to hear you. Nobody wants to hear
it, bro. About this or something? Is this something you've been to recently? You're having some therapy for this.
Guys, shut up. So what's your point, Brian? What is the bottom line here?
The bottom line is that the camera pointing out, it matches the horizon at 5 foot off the ground or 10 foot off the ground, and stationary I'm moving horizon at 127,000 feet. It matches.
How do you know where the horizon is when you're looking out at the 127,000?
I put it in slow motion. And well, you look at the distance, okay, before they show the capsule door closing, and you see the horizon out there. You see a building in the distance, okay, and you see a horizon right there next to the building. Okay? And then when they show that building, I put the video in slow motion, and then right at the one spot you can see it best, and slow it right there at the bottom of that building where the horizon lines up in the distance, and then I just put a line there, and then I recorded the rest of the video and just left the line there, and it matched up damn near perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I could consider this exactly a scientific analysis here, but
yeah, but you can do it yourself. It's the same camera angle, right? It's the same camera angle. I swear, dude. Anybody can do it. You match the horizon up at the ground level and just leave it on screen and record the rest of the video, and it'll match up with the horizon at altitude.
Well, honest question here, Brian. What do you think of Daz the cameraman's footage where he clearly shows curvature?
Hey,
that's
stop it.
NASA
stop it, Brenda.
Showed that can't be
your name is not Brian. Your name is not Brian.
Okay. Now, instead of a horizon way up there and a certain height, what you're going to show me is when the horizon starts getting bigger and starts getting smaller. In other words, when you can see the whole ball. He's trying to say planet Arizona or planet Phoenix. And
New Mexico.
They got a couple of them trying to show curvature at like 100,000. Yeah, and planet New Mexico for that. But Daz the cameraman's trying to show like a city as a planet. They're trying to act like the circle of sight is the.
No, he shows that the horizon. He shows that the horizon is curved.
Oh my God!
Okay, well that horizon there in my video. Even if you don't
understand how stupid you sound.
Hold on, dude. Hold on. Even if that horizon is, even if you don't buy the matched up horizons, which I don't know how you couldn't, it's the same fucking camera. But the horizon at that altitude should be dropping like 7% or 7 degrees. Okay, and not only that, it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be, I think, 435 miles out. It's supposed to be like,
when you say drop,
it's like, God, how many miles was it? It's like about. Man, it's a crazy amount of miles.
Yeah,
it's miles and miles lower than the ground underneath us.
So you say
and you look out in the distance, it's not dropping. Period.
So it does drop.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. You can measure it. You can measure the drop from level.
No, you can't.
With elevation.
Yes, you can measure it if you consider a ball 2 dimensions. Yeah, if you consider a ball 2 dimensions, then you can measure it and then do a curvature. So we don't buy all that bullshit.
So how do you explain McToon has a picture where he took a photograph. Excuse me, where he took a photograph of the horizon, and the moon was below eye level. So that's drop.
Yeah, I've showed this. When we've showed the sun below the horizon.
Yeah, that's drop. That's drop. That's drop due to elevation.
So you can have on a globe, you can have a horizon behind the sun. Okay. Another thing I showed at high altitude.
No, you can't. You can't have the horizon behind the sun.
Another thing I showed at high altitude. If you go to my channel, y'all, if you look at other videos on this channel, go to general and watch that, and go to other videos. I show like 3 different high altitude footage, and I picked ones with many bodies of water in them, so they can't claim water with a local sun spot. Their only claim was water reflected off water, so I picked. I picked altitude footage with multiple bodies of water, so they can't claim that. It's not reflected off the water. It's a local hot spot. They have no answer for that, folks. They're doomed.
Who's got a disco in the
It's
background?
Johnny Bernard. It's Johnny Bernard.
Yeah,
I would say with a lot of water. We've gone from drunk to drunker.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying with a lot of water, you get a lot
Hold on a second. Are you really gonna fucking say I'm drunk and that's your shit? You know what? You
I'm
know
not
what?
drunk.
I've lost
I'm
all
not drunk.
respect. I've actually lost all respect. Hold on. Let me finish.
Hold on.
Get another drink.
Brian, you got an echo. Hold on.
I have
guys.
lost
Brian,
all
you
respect.
How are you doing?
I mean, moderation sucks
Let
here, you know?
me finish.
Oh,
Hey,
this is
bitches.
Hold on a second.
uncontrollable.
Bitches, I'm fucking talking. Okay, listen.
Brian, you got an
I
echo
lost
going,
all
Brian.
respect for Rumpus.
You're in a constant
And I-
state of
Yeah.
mic issues.
You're too stupid.
Because
you don't care.
I'm muted to say that.
First of all,
We don't care about
they
what you
tried-
think,
They
Branch.
try to make
We're not
out
interested.
that the only two
We're
things
not
that
interested in your
affected
opinion.
fucking GPS
We're not
was
interested
fucking
in your
gravity
rambling
and
abuse.
time dilation.
We're
And
not
when I
interested in
bring
rambling
up,
abuse based on nothing but
hey, there's a
Dunning-Kruger.
third thing.
He slept on the speed.
When I talked about
with
Sagnac effect, saying, hey, there's a third thing.
Yeah,
you know what their response was?
You just tell me what
Their response was simply this. Why don't you try to
You
explain
did
it
well
to
there,
me
Brenda, to ask him what that was. That was a good one.
Sorry, guys. Look.
I have no clue. I have no clue what anybody said.
Maybe a representative will listen to me. You and Brenda were very
Nobody
fucking
wants to listen to
content
you.
with saying there's only two things that affect phthalates.
Guys, no one can understand anything
Sagnac
anyone's saying.
effect was brought up by me.
It's a simple question.
Your response
You didn't know what it
simply
was. Amazing. You
Yeah,
brought it up. You
because
didn't know what it
somebody's
was.
talking.
Very funny.
I have no
Listen,
idea what you guys
bro,
are talking about.
Bro, before I bring up the Sagnac effect, you two are very content that there's only two things that affect phthalates per session.
Okay, now I can ask
After I put it up,
what?
like the fucking idiots you are, right? Your response to me was, why don't you tell me what the fuck it is then?
No, you brought up the subject.
Like,
You gave a
honestly,
definition, and it was bollocks.
just think about
You
what you guys
nothing.
just did.
You brought it up,
Listen,
and you knew nothing about it.
Listen.
You just
I
made
brought it
something
up,
up.
and I'm right.
We're
That's
still
a
waiting for your
third
citation
factor.
to back up your claim.
That's the
Did you
third
manage to
fucking
find anything?
factor that affects fucking timelines of
Have you
GPS
found a
systems.
citation to back up your claim? It's based on inertia.
You need to find a
You
fucking
don't need to
citation.
find it. That's right. Yeah, you just your
I'm
little opinion.
telling you guys
Lying underneath your bed, looking at your bottom of your bed, you just
Do you
assert crap.
understand?
Yes.
You sound
no
like
basis
a
in
fucking
science.
complete
Yeah, you know
retard
that.
right now. Listen.
What a moron.
Listen. The fact
Brian,
of the
Brian, I
matter
much
is,
prefer talking to you than this
Sagnac
moron.
effect, the Sagnac effect does and has to be calculated for when you talk about GPS.
Can we relax? Can I ask?
You dumb fucks forgot about it completely until I brought it up.
Can you relax now?
Now your
Could it
response
happen
to that,
Branch,
your response to
Branch,
that
could it
is
happen on
asking
a-
me if I know
Branch.
what the fuck it is. You understand
Branch,
how
could it
fucking
happen? Could you
ridiculous
get
that
the
is?
Sagnac Branch? Could you get the
We
Sagnac
don't
effect
want to
on a
answer.
banana-shaped Earth?
We could have we have enough people here for a bum fight. Okay, Johnny and Branch, go. Okay, I will ask Rumpus, what is between
It
the
would be a
surface
bum
of the
fight.
Earth and the sky?
I missed that, Johnny. You're going to have to repeat it.
Brenda.
Branch is just rambling.
Everybody's talking, but it's a very, very important. It's a very important question.
can't hear you,
What
Johnny.
is
Branch is rambling.
what is
You
the
should have a
can't
good old
interrupt you.
conversation
Branch is going to
is
overtalk you, Johnny. I'm
with
afraid.
with your boy Rumpus.
He's determined to
I think
overtalk you,
you
Brian.
two
Johnny.
You act like if Branch wasn't talking, you'd understand what John said.
Well, I'm
Oh,
going to try. I'm going to try and understand, but I might not understand it. But I'm going to try.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
man. Look, you guys were totally wrong. You
Go
guys
ahead,
were
John.
totally wrong.
Why is
When you
everybody
guys
talking?
were
I will
trying
ask
to
him
fucking
one
understand,
question.
Yeah, I
when
know.
you guys were
Branch
trying to
is determined to
understand
overtalk you, Johnny. I'm afraid.
when you guys were
It will
trying to
not
talk
stop.
about, when you guys were
Can we
trying
mute
to
this
talk
guy?
Asking a fucking question.
It's Friday night fights.
Can
We
we
don't
mute?
really mute.
Can we mute Branch?
No, it's
Someone
Friday
mute
night
Branch.
fights. We
Rumpus,
don't
do
mute
you
on
understand
Friday
that
night.
you were wrong?
I was
Just
absolutely
can-
correct.
But
I'm
take
not-
him off mute after I ask you the question.
Guys,
Rumpus,
come on, man. Come on. We can't hear anything.
No.
One at a time.
Relax. What is between the surface of the Earth and the sky?
The atmosphere.
Giant.
Well, but it's what you just remember the sky. You mean there's the top of the atmosphere, which we regard as being 100 kilometers up, and there's obviously the atmosphere,
Yeah.
which gradually gets less and less dense.
Okay. Your
Not necessarily
answer
true.
was the atmosphere. Thank you. You're right. Ding.
The atmosphere
So-
goes
Excellent. Well done.
beyond
That's another
the
pass.
100-kilometer thing.
You won. You answered right.
Good job, Rumpus.
But-
You feel
but-
proud of yourself now.
Yeah,
But-
I don't think
but-
it's a great achievement, though, unfortunately.
Now it comes.
Oh my God, here's the punchline, right?
The person, yeah. What's happening?
Is somebody talking right now?
100,
Yeah,
100 meters
Oh, I must have him
in the
muted.
atmosphere. You know, you have more electricity
My bad, John.
in the air.
Rumpus
in
just
the
made the correct answer.
in the air. Do you know that?
I don't know. Jeremy was over talking, so I didn't hear what you said.
Technically, it was incorrect.
Sorry, John.
You
Say
know-
it again.
In
Doesn't matter what it says.
100, it's like a square. It gets more electricity the higher you get
Rumpus.
up from
That's a good point.
the
Good point, John.
surface of the earth.
I've not
Yep,
understood-
100
point.
kilometers, John. 100
I've
kilometers.
still not understood the
It's
question.
100 kilometers. No, it's 100 meters. In 100 meters, you have so much electricity, and 200 meters you have
Have
more
what, sorry?
electricity, and 300 you have get more. So it's higher electricity.
Yeah. He's talking about 100 volts per every
Oh,
every
it's talking about
100
the
meters.
voltage.
Yeah.
Voltage gradient going up in the as you go up.
You know what?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably better if Rumpus doesn't understand the question.
Right, so
It's
you're
probably
talking
better.
about the voltage potential as you go up in the atmosphere. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Like, Rumpus
talking
not
about
understanding the
the
question.
electronic-
God.
Good thing.
What's it like?
Can someone mute this moron?
So,
Is that
so
what you're
are we-
talking about, Johnny? The voltage potential as you go up. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about? Right.
Yeah,
What do you
I
want
think
to know
it is
about
more after the higher you get up, the more positive of the
that? Potential. Yeah. Right now, what's so what's the
you have.
question?
100 volts
Yeah.
per meter. It's a good point, John.
Yes, 100
Good
volts per
point.
meter. Yeah. What about it?
There we have understanding. There's a lot of things happening in our environment and in
Our
our
environment.
our-
Yeah. Okay.
Very dynamic system, yes.
Yeah.
it's a dynamic system.
We
yes.
have winds and we have weather. Yeah.
Very
yeah.
dynamic. The most dynamic thing we even know, yes.
No, it's not. There are
And-
many things much more. The sun
It's
is
the
much
most
more.
dynamic thing.
It's very dynamic.
Yeah, and we are also fluid system, and we are living in a
Yeah.
water world.
Yeah, but it forms a hydrostatic situation because of gravity, the denser,
I'm
areas of the
talking.
ground.
Yeah,
there's less density.
I'm talking.
It forms a hydrostatic
Rumpus,
layer.
please don't interrupt, John.
I'm taking on
Rumpus.
that. I'm taking on
Okay.
that. So, okay, we are
In the middle of
fluid
making a
system.
very good
You know
point.
what? You know what?
God.
I've literally had an
How is this question going to ever start?
Seriously,
Why are you
Rumpus.
talking? I'm
Hold on,
talking
John,
to the
hold
end.
on.
Stop interrupting, Rumpus.
Grant,
Someone
John's
mute
in the
this
middle of
guy.
making his point, guys. Shut the
Someone
fuck up.
Rumpus, can you stop interrupting, please?
Can someone mute
get both
Branch?
sets
For
of those.
Christ's sake, otherwise I
Well,
never
hold
get
on,
any
John. We'll get this
questions.
under control for you. Hold on. Everyone, please. John's in the middle of his point. Or question.
Has
I
a
don't know
point?
what it is.
Very-
Has a point?
It's very. I have to have a focus. It's very, very. Okay, I am trying.
I'm going to go to
We're
bed in a minute,
focused.
Johnny. I'm going to go to bed in a minute. You need to get to the point.
Are you going to bed?
Yes, I'm going to go to bed in a few minutes. I need you to get to the point before I expire.
What the fuck? Are you walking now? Or something? Oh, okay. It doesn't
It's
matter.
bedtime at this nearly 1 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah. But,
Oh my God.
Okay.
This is more painful than having a tooth extracted. Jesus
No, I
Christ.
forgot
get to your
what the
question.
fuck I was talking about. Okay. Okay. You know,
You're trying to
I was
talk
just-
to me, aren't you? You're trying to talk to me.
Okay. I'm on the point. No.
Oh my God. Oh my God, this is wonderful.
Someone make him ask the question. Jesus Christ.
Stop talking.
It's no question. It's
John,
go-
ask your,
God, I'm in
John,
pain.
ask your question.
Yeah,
Go
coming
ahead.
through some facts, and then the question will come. The
Go
punch.
ahead, John. John, go ahead. Ask your question.
We are talking about, we are living in a dynamic system.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that. So now you're repeating the things you said before.
Hello,
You know that.
you don't have to say that. I say that. I'm just coming back, Fifan.
You've said it 4 times now, and I totally agree with you. It's not news.
Rumpus,
You don't have to say that.
Can you let Johnny finish?
Yo,
Rumpus?
Johnny, it's dynamic system. Continue.
Come on, guys. Let Johnny
Let
finish,
him, we will
please.
never
We're never
get
going to get through this.
He's wearing
It's
me
the most
down.
dynamic system
Rumpus,
ever. Go ahead, continue.
Just concede, Rumpus.
Stop disturbing Johnny, please. Just stop it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
Hang on, Johnny, go ahead.
just to let me set me going. I have to say, and you don't say I said it the third time. Yes, we are living in a dynamic system.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Johnny.
Shut the fuck up. Continue.
John, you're going to have to...
Come on, make him
Stop being
finish.
such a fucking.
Rumpus,
Stop.
I
He
said
said, don't say that. I said it
cannot
before.
say-
He's
Rumpus, you need to control your
Rumpus. He said,
people.
don't say that. I said it before.
He's
And you, like a
afraid.
basic bitch, did
He's
exactly
he's
what
afraid.
a basic bitch would do.
told
Guys,
him he
guys.
cannot say.
Excuse
Come
me, guys. Johnny, please go ahead. Take it from the top, Johnny. Start again.
Yeah.
I can't take any more.
Johnny, dumb it down for us.
But I don't want to say it, but I have to say it.
Say
Oh
it.
my God.
Hey,
Number
Rumpus,
6.
you need to shut the fuck up, Rumpus.
We are
Don't
living
let
in
me
a.
Again.
Rumpus, if you keep talking again, I'm gonna
In the most dynamic
Okay,
system
if you
ever
say something
possible.
now, Rumpus,
Go ahead,
you are-
Johnny. Continue.
I
I'm
gotta
saying-
go. I gotta go. I cannot take it. You're
No,
killing
Rumpus, you
my
have
brain.
to
I'm
stay.
losing neurons every time you repeat that phrase.
It's your
But
own
point
fault.
at the end will replenish the
So, I'm
neurons
saying-
lost.
We are living in a
Oh my God.
dynamic
The
system.
most dynamic. Continue.
Fine.
I'm being told.
Ah,
I can't understand. I cannot take any more of this, Johnny.
It sounds like we finally found Rumpus's kryptonite.
Hey, Johnny,
Johnny.
I'll start the sentence. You finish it. We are living in a dynamic system. Go.
No.
Okay, I will try. Okay, I go.
No, honestly, Rumpus.
I'm
when you
really
said you
curious
gotta
to what the
go,
point is at the end.
Nobody asked you to stay. You can fuck off, bro.
I cannot take this anymore.
But Rumpus, aren't
No,
you curious
when
what
you
the
said you
point
gotta
is?
go,
No,
when
my
you said
brain
you
is
gotta
now
go,
confused. It's
nobody
not
asked you
be
to stay.
curious about anything anymore except where my bed is.
Okay, let's be serious, guys.
There
We're living
is-
in the most
there
dynamic
is no-
system ever possible. Continue, Johnny.
Yeah,
Anyways, I will go now. And I
Bye
will
bye.
say-
What do you mean?
On a cliffhanger.
No,
Okay.
I'm not talking about
That
that.
last
I'm
5
talking
minutes of
about
my
the
life
call
was
in my
absolutely worthless.
Johnny, make your point, man.
in meaning and understanding. Oh, it's not my understanding. It's a fucking reality I'm talking about. It's not my
Make your point, bro. We're
It's
all
about
anxious to
Very
hear
good
it.
the
point, John.
reality of
Very
the
good.
life.
You don't know what you're
What
talking
are we
about.
talking
So we're now
about?
talking
We
about
are
life
talking
now,
about-
are we?
Oh, you're afraid. You're afraid about the reality, Rubus. I
I'm
know.
afraid. I'm
Wow,
certainly
come
afraid.
on,
I'll give you
guys.
that.
I wanna
Listen,
hear
I'm
it.
going
Absolutely
to start
terrified
muting
about what's
everyone.
happening to
John
us.
will get
Can I
this
come-
fucking point out. Hold on, John.
Can
Listen, no one interrupt. I want John to get this point out. Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay. There you have it. If you're living in a dynamic system,
Oh, God.
you will never see something that you can expect in a laboratory or in a lab, because dynamic system is like a living something
It's
that
like
is
unpredictable.
following.
It's not. It's entirely
Right.
predictable in terms of
But-
the density.
Rumpus!
Hydrostatic system.
Why are you talking? I was
Because
just,
you've not got to your point yet.
yeah,
He was
I'm coming
he
to
was
the point.
nearly there.
Well, get to it, Jesus Christ! It's now 1 o'clock.
Nearly there.
But there is ground points that you can never go from because it's a ground point of physics. There you have it.
The ground point of what?
Like
Ground
we are
point
talking
of feces? Did he say feces?
I didn't look at that.
Hold on.
There's a ground point of
Physics. Ground
physics.
point
And
of
that's what I'm going to take
Physics,
away from
not
conversation.
thesis.
There's a
I said
ground point of
feces.
feces. I've had
Ground
that.
point of physics.
no
Continue,
physics. I
Johnny.
not say thesis. I said
Brilliant.
physics.
Ground point of
Physics.
physics.
Oh,
That's what the
physics.
point was. That was what the build-up was
Yeah,
to a
ground
ground
point
point
of
of
physics.
physics.
how
Like
do
I
physical
can't
laws.
take any more. Brenda,
related
please take
to-
over. Take
It's
it.
just
Rumpus, do you want to respond to his point?
Tilted. Let him
Graham,
finish. He wasn't finished his point, guys.
Can you please respond to his point now?
We
Rumpus?
cannot have
The point was.
He wasn't
No
finished.
idea at all.
Okay, let
Go
me
ahead.
say
Ground
it.
points and
You
physics.
cannot have a
Finish your point,
system
Johnny.
that is following. You cannot say we have an auto set that is following something that is
I can translate.
around.
I can translate.
We don't need
You
you to
cannot
translate.
have an
We're not
atmosphere
Go ahead.
following the.
Hey, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. Let me try. Let me
Stop over talking him. Jesus.
If it is not a
ground points
closed
of physics
system,
that are following.
you have to say, is it a closed system or is it not? If you say it's an open system, then you know what you are doing then. If you say it's a closed system, you know what you're doing then.
Yeah, yeah, Johnny.
Well, I don't want you guys to miss the outcome of that thrilling debate, but let me read these. There's been a couple Streamlabs. My Streamlabs doesn't seem to be working, so I'll have to get that fixed before Monday. But Smurfed donated $3. There is no spoon or time. Rumpus could be right if he focused his details. Hey, if someone can show me this time travel thing, I'm in. But I don't buy this GPS as an explanation. I've never seen the details. They claim that these calculations need to take place for time dilation in order for GPS to work. I'm very skeptical of this, especially seeing as how GPS came out of the Department of Defense, right? Father Christmas donated $5. This was like 3 days ago. Now, I think this one might have worked though, actually, at the time. Dumbass ball believers better be good. Yeah, I think I read that one at the time. And then Smurf donated $5. This was like 8 days ago. I don't know if this one worked or not. To buy Rumpus a tin of biscuits. Oh, shit. Now I got to buy Rumpus a tin of biscuits, huh? All right. Thank you very much, Smurfed and Father Christmas. Appreciate it. I'll get that working so you guys can use it in the future if you want to. But I appreciate it.
You say it's a closed system, but
Johnny,
it gets the
Can you tell us
light
again? Can
energy
you tell us again,
from
please?
outside of this closed system.
Also, I'd like to acknowledge how much of a dumpster fire inside of a dumpster fire, even for my show, this is like reaching new levels. If I had to pick the people I thought would create the biggest dumpster fire, I'm having a hard time thinking of anybody outside of who's on the panel that I would add to the panel to increase the dumpster fire quotient. So there you have it.
System. They claim it's a closed system.
Can you tell us?
Hold up, real quick.
An
So
isolated
Johnny,
system.
Steelman, your point. They say it's a closed system, right? But they also say that
Yeah,
Earth
we're
energy
waiting,
from
we're waiting.
outside
Come
as
on.
if it's an open system.
No, they
in
say
terms of
Earth is
the
an open
EMF.
system, bro. Bro, their claim is Earth is an open system.
Let Brent tell us about the isolated system and what's between isolated and closed system. What's the
Percentage?
difference?
Their claim is that it's an open system. They got rockets going in and out, meteors. Their claim's open system.
I think Brent is a little bit scared now.
No, I'm not scared.
Wait a minute. If the Earth is a closed system, how are rockets going in and out? Is it some sort of valve? Do they knock on the door out there on the Orion's belt for it to open?
And stuff. But
I think
because of
Brenda's
gravity, it's
especially
considered a
scared.
closed system.
No, I'm not
because of
afraid.
the
I'm just waiting for people to settle down.
Brenda, can you clarify? Please?
Yes, I can, but people keep over talking, so I just
You're
wait.
going to be
until
waiting
they're
a
done.
long time, Brenda.
Yeah, you're right on that.
No, that's up to you. That's up to you, people.
Well,
I don't care.
you could have took this very moment. You could have took this very moment when you decided to say that to just explain it.
Oh, okay. An open system is when there's an exchange of heat and matter with an outside system. A closed system is when there's just an exchange of heat. An isolated system is when there is no exchange. Do I have that right?
And what is it that you're saying the Earth is
right
then?
in the definition, but it's wrong.
No, I'm literally reading it off.
Okay, we heard the definitions, Brenda. Now what we want to know is which one of those definitions are you implying to whatever you say the Earth is?
Oh, the Earth is open.
Really?
Heat and matter can be interchanged with the outside system.
What about?
Can you tell me what is the system? Hold on. Can you tell me what is the system that stops the molecule? Tell me the system that stops the molecule. You know, the molecules, the air, the things that we breathe. What is it that stops it? It doesn't cause it to expand.
It's called gravity.
So gravity allows it to behave like a closed system.
Oh shit!
Gravity.
Wait a minute. Wait. I heard you. And I'm not gonna knock you down with the gravity.
I cannot say gravity.
I just want you to explain it. Just explain it. I did. As far as you. John, hold on.
I cannot do that.
Yes, I can.
But let her explain it. Just explain it. How we don't agree. I don't agree with that gravity does that.
Oh, I don't care what you. I don't care what you think.
Not a problem. So explain it.
Right. So gravity.
Well, I mean, if you don't care what we think, that look, Brenda, if you don't care what we think, then you can go fuck off then, because we are here, right? You're talking to us. So if you don't care, go fuck yourself. Go to Jim Pan and suck his dick or something.
So you asked me a question. So
answer it. Stop saying if you don't care what we care. If you don't, you can fuck off. It's very easy.
Media. Just
so you need to shut your fucking mouth.
Relax,
and let me
Brenda.
answer. Well, I think it's.
You know what? I don't even want you to answer. Just somebody.
Yeah. Go fuck
John
yourself.
Bernard, can you repeat yourself again? I didn't hear you the first time.
So the way gravity works is that gravity creates.
John Bernard, I didn't hear you what you said earlier. Repeat yourself.
Gravity creates a gravity well where it takes energy to escape the influence of the gravity of the Earth.
Yeah, so it's not a truly.
You have any repeatable
the air going
testifiable
into the vacuum?
Do you have any evidence for what you just claimed?
Yes, it's called gravity.
What you just claimed, the gravity well.
Yes, it's called.
Yeah. I understand that, but do you understand that gravity, like the shape of the Earth, is part of the thing in question when you talk in these debates?
No,
do you understand that part of it?
No, it's not.
No. Oh, so you're having a completely made up debate with completely made up people
it's not
and
made
a
up.
completely made up subject.
No, it's not made up.
No. So what is the point of this debate? What are you doing here right now?
You asked me what is an open versus closed versus isolated system. I told you.
The point of contention of this entire debate is the shape of the Earth with gravity. I'm asking you to explain what is gravity, and don't use gravity as an explanation for gravity. I want you to paint the picture.
I'm just gonna let it run for a while.
Me a calculation. I would prefer a story that you make up, but please don't use gravity to prove gravity. Right. Please explain it to me, Brenda.
Sure. Gravity is the bending of space-time due to the unequal distribution of mass.
Okay, so you're saying that space-time bends when mass is uneven. How about when mass is even? What does space-time do?
Then it would be flat.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Just repeat it. Just repeat it. You said that gravity is due to space-time when it's bending, right? You say, and I said, well, what happens when space-time is not bending? And can you give me an example of space and time not bending, please?
So gravity is the emergent property that occurs when there is an uneven distribution of mass, right? So
you're implying that when there is nothing uneven, there's no gravity. That's what I'm trying to explain.
No,
in that scenario where there wouldn't be,
there would be. Well, gravity is a field that is everywhere. That so it's like electricity. It's and all the fields are everywhere. But the point is that when there's no uneven distribution of mass, then space-time would be relatively flat as opposed to bent.
What will be what can you think of a scenario that would better explain your example?
Well, the traditional example is a rubber sheet. You put a heavy weight on the rubber sheet and it bends the sheet in 2 dimensions. Just imagine that that's happening in 3 dimensions.
Can I read something from NASA.gov?
But hold on. Just
all right. Go ahead.
Hold on. There's a difference between that sheet. See, I understand the example that you just put. Let me finish with John Bernard, and then you can go ahead, right?
The thing about the sheet, right? We all understand the example that you're talking about. The little demonstration of the big ball and then the guy throwing the other ball and the thing circling around, right? That's what you're going for, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying gravity is?
It is an illustration meant to give an example of what it would be like, but it's only two-dimensional, right? So we have to then imagine. We then imagine that it's in 3 dimensions for us.
But in that case, the thing is going around because the actual fabric itself, because of the weight of the object, is going down. So the only thing that the secondary ball that's going around is doing is just following its nature, right? It's going around. It has nothing to do with actual anything, right? If that fabric wasn't there, that activity would not go on. So you understand how that's a completely made up scenario to explain something that's made up, which is gravity.
So we know that space-time, which is what people like to call like the fabric of the universe, we know that exists, and we know it can bend.
We don't. Don't lie.
We know is the thing that's in contention. I hope you understand. Again, the shape of the Earth and gravity. So when you say we know, those are the things that are in contention. The things that you guys claim to know, which you can't even explain.
Yes, I just did. And
Okay,
we can measure the curvature of the Earth.
John, go ahead, take it, John Bernard.
We can measure the curve of the Earth, and we can measure the gravitational constant.
It's an open system.
I will take over.
NASA.gov. With respect to matter, other than some particles entering Earth's atmosphere and a few atoms.
What is gravity?
Mainly hydrogen entering and leaving the top of the atmosphere in relatively small amounts.
I have a question.
Brenda,
the Earth
Percent is talking,
a
Johnny.
closed system.
Hey, Brenda, how do you know that exists?
Other people are talking. People, shut up.
No, I'm taking over. I'm talking.
You're taking over.
I'm taking over. Yes.
Okay, percent. I guess you've been sidelined.
That's all right. It was basically you were wrong to say it's
no,
open
I'm
system.
not wrong.
NASA.gov
I'm not
says
wrong.
it's a closed system.
How do you know that exists,
Yes.
Brenda?
I know percent. I know already that NASA calls it a closed system.
And you're saying NASA's wrong?
I'm asking you a
No,
question,
I don't think they're
Brenda.
wrong. I don't think they're wrong.
Well, is it
I
an open
like
system
you
mostly
and
or a
everything.
closed
Can you
system
ask-
mostly? Because they're
Can I ask
long
you?
I just gotta say,
non-contradictions.
Brenda,
It could
Can
only
you
be one of
answer
them.
me? What
You're
is
usually pretty good,
gravity?
Brenda, but I gotta say,
Who is talking over me?
You guys heard it here first. Brenda says
I'm talking
NASA is
with
wrong.
Brenda.
I'm talking with Brenda.
You're gonna take that. You're gonna take that, Brenda. Media
I
J.
can't
NASA
hear
is wrong.
I can't hear anything.
2021.
I can't hear
Guys,
anything.
come on, man. One at a time, man. Don't turn it into a shit show.
Oh, it's all been one a long time ago.
Yeah,
Guys,
way too late
let
for
me
that.
take care of Brenda, okay? Don't talk over me. Let me take care of Brenda, okay?
All right, take care of Brenda, big boy.
Okay, Brenda.
Go for it, Johnny.
Thank you. Brenda, what is gravity then?
I just
Big
explained
boy.
it. It's the bending of space-time due to the uneven distribution of
Yes.
mass.
Just explain it,
Thank
man.
you. I have to know where you are on the line. If you are so-called old Newtonist or you are, so-called Einstein.
Einsteinian.
Einsteinist. Yes, that is nobody will say anymore because nobody in the science will say Einstein is right.
Yeah, they do.
Damn.
They do say Einstein is right.
No, they are talking about they are in a shame because shit, he was wrong about that. He's wrong about that.
shit.
He's wrong about that.
He hasn't been shown wrong, except what they're looking for is a way to bring together general relativity and quantum mechanics. They don't have a solution for that just yet. That doesn't mean that everything Einstein said is wrong. It means there needs to be an additional theory that would account for both. It would account for both.
Do you know Einstein took his equation from Maxwell?
Okay, so
yeah, people know about that. So Maxwell was talking about the electromagnetism.
I didn't hear what he said.
Wow.
I didn't hear what he said.
Electromagnetism.
He fucking
Yes,
screwed the fuck out of you. That's what
No, he didn't. So yes, I know that Maxwell's equations are for electromagnetism. I know that.
Yeah.
And you agree
Yeah, so-
that Einstein took his equation.
But you know what? He took it. He was like a
Welcome to Flat Earth, Brenda.
More like welcome to.
This
the
has nothing to
electric
do with that.
universe.
This has nothing
Or
to
the
do with
electric
electric universe.
universe.
either.
Hey, Johnny, great job, bro.
Of course not, Brenda. You are so far down into the
Well done,
delusion.
Johnny,
There's no
actually.
Never
helping
seen
you.
you
You're
school
happy
Brenda
with.
that hard, bro.
He
No,
did take care of
let
Brenda.
me take him through it. I love Brenda.
Now he's gonna make you
nothing
understand,
against
Brenda. Look at this guy. What
I
a
love
stand-up dude.
So
Hey,
I'm
make-
talking
make her
about
understand, bro. Make her understand.
yeah. So then it was a lot of politics in this year. It was a Nazi fucking shit going on, and he came from Germany, and he
I
was
love Germany.
going from Germany to America.
Damn, he's got international on this shit on your ass.
So there's a lot of politics there.
What?
The upper echelons, the hierarchy.
Does anybody have
It was in the works. Man.
concise direction of what the conversation is going into?
No, they do not.
Johnny,
They do
Johnny,
not.
no. What's happening right now is
The conversation dumb. You are fucking dumb. Everybody understands that as have brain cells.
Well, what's happening is Johnny is basically
just shut
creating a new asshole for Brenda.
Yeah, I love Brenda. Everybody knows that. That's a problem, of course. But what can I do about it? But
okay,
the science and reality have to win. And that's everything is about.
Sometimes Johnny, you gotta be hard on these people, right? They just don't get it. Fucking, they're idiots.
What is it that we don't get?
Basic shit.
Exactly.
Level, horizontal.
So you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. So apparently, I don't have to get anything.
I said life, and Percent said basic shit.
And what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
That pretty much covers everything you don't get.
He's just talking
No,
about his feelings.
Yeah,
He's talking about his feelings.
Yes, he's talking about his feelings. He got hurt because I schooled him earlier.
Oh,
wait a second. Wait a second,
but
Brandon. When did you?
You're wrong, Brandon.
Nobody in this
Maybe
chat.
you
You're
never
more
listen.
delusional than nobody, Will.
Look, what I don't get.
So it's my time to school you, Brenda. It's my time to school you.
Well, you would have to string together an actual coherent sentence, which you have yet to do.
Brenda, please do not disrespect the guy because
Do whatever the fuck I want.
Language is not English. Please respect people.
No.
Their first language is not
He
English.
can make a coherent.
Friday night, buddy. Friday night.
You know, when you do that, Brenda,
She's allowed to
that's
do whatever
actually-
she wants.
that's actually
She can be as bigoted as she wants, but we can't.
Yeah.
We get
it's
to
not,
her, then it's a
that's not his
problem.
first
but-
fucking language. Let him fucking talk. and try to
Because it's not his first language. She can discriminate against him, pick on, insult, and belittle him.
I'm not discriminating against anybody.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. There we go.
I'm just asking him to string two words together and make a sentence. And that's a tough call.
No one else. I mean,
Do you know
I'm
how-
sure everyone else
do you
here
know,
understood what he
Brenda?
said.
Hello.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Seems the problem with you.
Shut the fuck
Is
up.
my
I'm
mic-
talking with Brenda now.
Shut up, John.
Do you know, Brenda? Do you
understand.
know? Hey, nobody can talk now. Nobody. I'm
No,
talking.
Johnny, shut up.
Johnny, come on, chill, bro.
No, I'm talking about the sun. I'm talking about the sun over the flat earth. How do you think, Brenda, the sun will move over the flat earth?
Oh,
I don't think it can. I think that would be a refutation of the flat earth. It can't.
Can you tell me how you can can you use your brain to understand how the sun is moving over the flat Earth?
It cannot, because it would violate many known laws.
She's
So it
Can you
can't.
give me-
ignorance.
Oh,
She's
give
admitted
me
she
the
doesn't know.
example.
No,
of-
I'm saying,
Literally arguing
I'm saying
from
it's.
You
No,
cannot
I'm saying
give-
it's. I'm
you
saying
cannot
it's
give an
physically. I'm saying it's physically impossible.
Okay, fine.
Well, you just
Can
wrong.
you give me an example of it?
Example of the not circling over the flat Earth.
How it violates some physics.
what laws would be broken?
It's crazy.
I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question.
You are saying how? I'm saying if the sun over the flat Earth.
We saying what, Johnny?
What are you saying, Johnny?
You cannot explain flat Earth because you don't know how it's
yes,
working.
you're right. You're right because it
from flat Earth
because
you
flat
don't
Earth
know
is
how flat Earth is working.
no, it's not. It's not. It's physically flat Earth is physically impossible. Flat Earth is physically impossible.
Okay.
Honey, that was a great point. That was a great point. Yeah, I think you're completely correct on that point.
Yeah, I ask you,
Johnny's, like,
do you
really
really
killing it
understand how the function is on the flat Earth? And you fail it.
I said that it is physically impossible.
Now you're trying to go back and
That's what I've been saying.
Wrong.
I've said that several times already. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. That's what I've been
Brenda,
saying.
what physical laws would it break for the sun, which you don't know what it is, to move in the sky on a flat Earth?
We do know what it is.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
What's the
do.
sun?
Shall I ask you?
It's a ball of. It's a hot ball of plasma with several million degrees. It's a million times larger than the Earth.
What
Can you prove any of this?
Yes.
All right, where's your proof?
No, you can. That's just standard science. You can verify that for yourself.
No,
so
that's
go
shifting
figure it
the
out.
burden of proof.
No, I
You
don't. I can just
Hold on,
appeal.
Johnny, let
Do you
Chris
know
finish
what
the
you
proof.
have to get plasma? Do you know what you? How do you get plasma, Brenda?
You said you could prove it. Don't
How do you get plasma?
Escape. Don't run from it now.
Oh, it's plasma because of the intense gravity is burning.
Wrong.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong again, Brenda.
Oh, I'm wrong?
The theory.
Yeah.
I'm wrong? How am I wrong? Tell me. Tell me.
You were wrong.
Honestly, we do not know. We do not know.
Well, I
what's
do.
happening in the
I do.
No. Let me.
We don't know.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Scientists themselves do not know.
That's not true.
What's actually
That's a lie. That's a lie.
They are taking it from me. It's
only a theory.
They cannot talk.
It's not.
I have to do it.
You don't know how to make plasma.
They're marked.
How do you? What is plasma?
Plasma is a highly energetic state of matter, right? Beyond being a gas. It's when it's even hotter, then it becomes a plasma. It's a highly energetic state.
Oh, it's no answer.
No.
It's just words.
Look at my end.
There's
Wrong.
no proof whatsoever.
If you
Aaron, claim
if
after
you
claim
answer this
after claim,
question,
no proof.
on
Shifting
the-
the burden
on
of
the-
proof
on the test,
fallacy.
I say
proof by
no.
assertion. Fallacious.
Wrong.
Just absolutely fucking fallacious logic.
So you don't know what
Pathetic.
plasma is. You
It's
don't.
just plastic. It's not fiberglass. So you know what I would do? Trace out how big you need.
I think he's hot mic.
I don't know.
what?
I don't know.
The
I think he's
sun
talking to
is-
somebody else. Yeah, I
I'm
think
going to
you're
claim
right.
that the sun is smokeless fire. It's fire without smoke.
No, it's not fire. The
Nope,
sun
too
is
bad.
not fire. The
It's
sun is not
smokeless
fire
fire.
percent.
No, I got proof. I'm not going to show it. You read
No,
into it.
the sun is not fire.
You look into it,
What's burning?
and you'll find
What's
it's
burning?
smokeless fire.
What's burning?
It's smokeless fire. It has nothing
Okay,
burning.
okay, I accept smokeless
It's magical
fire.
fire. Okay.
Yes, burn without smoke.
Yep.
Okay, what's burning?
Nothing's burning. It's just fire. Without
Well,
there's no burning.
there. When there's fire, something is burning.
No, not always.
Yes,
it's
always,
smokeless.
always.
Not
Even
if it's smokeless.
Of course.
Point me
Gas
to a
burn without
smoke.
smoke.
Point me
Gas-
to a smokeless fire.
So you're just
Yeah,
trolling
Other
here.
than
You don't
sun.
actually believe this, do you? You don't believe this. You're just trolling.
I'm showing your fucking ignorance.
No, I think you're just trolling.
Yeah, I'm using your tricks against you. So obviously it does seem
so
to be
tricksy,
because
so
that's what your
tricksy.
shit is.
Is it? Is it?
Exactly. You're making a
What?
claim. You have no proof. And
Come
you're trying
on,
to ask me
man.
to prove it for you.
Well, I
Rob on the level come on.
You got this big roll of orange too.
Rob, your
you
mic's
run
open.
like 3. Oh, sorry guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can talk to your hooker later.
Yeah, okay.
Is that jealousy I hear?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a married man. Thank
So
you.
I said.
Nah,
so that
it's
doesn't-
probably
that-
more of a no. It takes one to know one kind of thing.
So I said that the sun is a giant ball of hot plasma.
And you said you
It's
had
burning. It's burning because of nuclear fusion.
proof. You said you had proof.
We can prove that by taking the temperature.
Really?
Yes.
So how did you take the temperature of the sun where the sun is?
They're the same way that you can take somebody's temperature using one of those infrared thermometers. You don't have to touch the person, do you?
But the thing is, we know that what the medium is between the thermometer and the
Yes,
object.
and we know what the medium is between the Earth and the sun.
Really?
So if I take
Yes.
a Fresnel lens, and put it in direct sunlight and then measure the temperature of the rays under the Fresnel lens, is that going to tell me the temperature of the sun?
No, it will tell you the temperature of the Fresnel lens.
The Fresnel lens isn't that hot. It would melt. The fuck are you talking
You can
about?
You can concentrate. If you concentrate the energy, right, then you've raised it, right? So no, you're
So
not
how do you know?
measuring.
How did you get the temperature of the sun without going
By-
to it and making sure that there's nothing
by-
in between us
by-
and the sun that's either cooling it down or making it seem hotter?
You can take temperature from a distance.
Yeah, if you know what's in between you and the object.
Yes, and we know what's in between. We know what's
No,
in
you
between.
don't.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
You're just
You have no
denying now.
idea.
So you're just denying it this
No.
time.
You don't know
Yeah,
what
we do.
medium it's in. You don't know how
just real
far
quick.
away
Hey,
it is.
listen,
You don't know
just-
what it is.
guys,
You don't know
guys, just real
what,
quick.
like whether
Just-
it's.
Yeah, we
Hey,
do.
wait,
We do know.
hold on,
So you can
hold
just
on.
deny.
Fucking clue.
Listen, hold on, just real quick. You guys keep missing the basic principles. When was the temperature of the sun first known? When did they know how hot the sun was the very first time they established how hot the sun was? When was that?
It's not relevant to the discussion. The
No,
discussion.
I'm
It is
sorry.
kind
No,
of
it is.
relevant.
It is.
No,
very
it isn't,
relevant.
because the discussion
Yes, it
is how we
simply
know.
Because you are hand wave dismissing, okay? Simply because you are hand wave dismissing my question doesn't mean my question is not valid. Do you know when they first claimed to know how hot the sun was? I don't. I'm
I don't
asking
personally
you.
know.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
I'll
No,
look
it
it up for you.
doesn't. No,
Yes, it
doesn't.
does. Okay,
I
listen
don't
very
know either.
carefully. Listen
No,
very
because
carefully.
the question is how do we know how hot the sun is?
No,
That's a
Brenda.
different question.
It can matter
Brenda,
depending
Brenda,
on the
I'm
answer. 'Cause
doing
if
this-
it's
I'm doing
before
this-
the technology allowed us to even know, then it's like, kind of evidence. It's corroborative evidence that it's a made-up story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
listen
don't
very
know.
carefully. Hold on very carefully, Brenda. Okay, you may not hand wave dismiss my question because my question is not the same question that you were addressing. The question that you were addressing led me to ask another question. If you don't know the answer, then just say, I don't know. But don't hand wave dismiss my question.
Look, do it the other way. Anyone who knows, answer, please.
Yeah, it's an honest question.
Yeah, I don't know when we first
Okay,
had
thank you.
a temp. That's irrelevant. So
It's not. It is
irrelevant.
not
It is.
irrelevant.
It is.
Described how
It is.
Okay,
it was
no.
intellectually
Hold on.
dishonest.
Listen very carefully
how
again
it's
because
relevant.
you're okay. Hold on. Now because you're addressing my question as irrelevant.
1939. It was around 1939.
Did we
Okay.
have any satellites up there?
1939.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So since we have an honest discussion going on, since you've got a date for when they first estimated, was it an estimate or were they declaring what they knew?
Was it a measurement or
right?
guess?
My question would be, with what did they measure this temperature? How did they know?
Well, I'll have to read a bit further on Google.
That's fine.
You
That's
could
fine.
do this too.
Yeah,
you could do it
Okay,
too.
listen, hold on.
It wasn't really, it was a
Hold
guesstimate
on.
at best, right? It was a guesstimate.
Hold on. Listen. I know that I can Google it. I'm driving right now, so I'm not gonna.
Okay,
We're
fair
having
enough.
a
Okay.
We're having a conversation.
All right, gotcha.
I can explain how it's done.
Hold
But
on. I'm
Chicken,
guessing
go.
black body radiation. That's how they measure it.
Probably.
I'm guessing they didn't measure it at all and it's just bullshit.
Well, you would be wrong.
Well, thankfully, the positive claim is the one that has the burden of proof. So you guys saying that they measured it have to prove it.
Yeah,
For me to say
it's
bullshit.
the way you measure things.
The intellectually logical thing.
I'm answering
is
you.
to say it's bullshit until it's
Yes,
proven.
I'm answering you. The way you measure the temperatures of stars is by
I don't need to know
comparing.
the
So
speculative
if you're
way.
just
I
not
wanna
going to
see the
talk
actual
over me,
measurement.
I'm not going to answer you. So the
I
answer
didn't
is
ask you a question.
yes, you
So
did.
you
You
asked-
asked how I know what the temperature of the sun
I
is.
didn't ask that.
Yes, you did.
When?
That's the outstanding
Like
question
20
here
minutes
in
ago?
the chat.
I haven't heard him ask that.
So you're just
I
sea
didn't- I
lion.
didn't ask that
You're
right
just
now. I
sea
didn't ask any
lion.
question.
You're just sea lioning.
No.
You're a sea
I'm
lion.
Literally not asking you
You
any
are
questions.
a
I know you
sea
don't have
lion.
any insightful answers.
I will
Alan,
answer to what? Answer to
Alan,
what?
You're answering the questions you want to answer.
What's the question that you want me to answer?
None.
Well, I don't know about you
Johnny,
guys.
on the
I
other
feel like
hand.
this has been a productive night, and we've gotten a lot accomplished here.
No,
I think John Bernard should repeat himself again. It's very entertaining.
I can explain to you how we know this. The temperature of the sun is simply by comparing the color of the light
Didn't know
to
when,
other
but now
things.
see again, he didn't know when or anything, but now he's an expert how.
Yes,
These
you
fucking
can.
people are
Yes, you
mental.
don't have to know how. You can know how without knowing when.
Silent Zero. That's because while they're distracted and stuff, they're also Googling. So by the time they've distracted everybody from the original question, they've already Googled the answer. Therefore, they become an expert immediately.
This is stuff.
How to do that?
This
If you
is
watch
stuff
Nick
I
Toon's
knew in
videos,
the 8th grade. This is stuff I knew in the
Nick
8th grade.
Toon does that.
I
He says,
don't
"Keep
have to
your
Google
captions
it.
open."
You did. Sure that you did.
So we know the temperature of the sun by comparing the color of the light to other things, right? So you can burn an element like in the laboratory. Notice the color of the matter by noticing the color and then comparing it with the color you get from the sun.
And then you correlate that to the sun, right?
Are you saying what matter the sun is? To see what color it is?
Everybody's talking. I can't hear you.
All right, and then you're gonna correlate that to the sun, right?
Right. So you do the
Why
experiment
would you
in the
do that?
laboratory. Excuse me. You do the experiment in the laboratory. You burn
understand that.
different things in the
understand that.
laboratory,
I'm
and then
asking
you
you-
compare those.
I
Then you
understand.
then you compare those to the sun.
Why would you compare
you're
it to the
talking
sun
about-
if you don't know what the sun is?
That's how
talking
you
about-
find out what it is.
What?
Yes.
You're talking about spectroscopy, right?
Yes. That's how you find out what
not
things
in-
are by spectroscopy.
And spectroscopy is done in a controlled environment, very controlled, highly controlled environment, right? Where they know the
Yeah,
volume
and then you can
everything.
astronomical
They know
spectroscopy is a thing.
You're talking about terrestrial or
No, I'm talking about astronomical spectroscopy. You take the light from a star, you look at the spectrograph, and you can see what it's made out of.
Right. So is it? And when you do it in a lab, it's done in a very controlled environment, right?
Sure.
Would you like me to answer that question?
And is an environment of from us to the star a very controlled environment, or even known?
Yes, yes, it is.
I know you claim
Yes,
to know
it is
but you
known,
actually
and it is known and controlled. Yes.
No, it's
It
not.
is.
It's fucking stupid that you would even
No,
say that. What a bunch of horse shit.
Oh, okay.
Would you
Here's another
like me
question.
to
Here's
answer
another
that?
question.
I would love for Professor Phil he knows much more about this than I do.
Okay, Brenda, I got a question for you now.
You guys clearly
Alright?
didn't see
Now I got a
last video
question
on
for you.
spectroscopy.
At the same temperature, Do things of different matter burn different colors?
I'll let Professor
Okay.
Phil answer.
Are we ready?
Oh, so when I do have a question for you,
Okay, so
Professor Phil, can you do one thing, Professor Phil? Can you explain to Brenda that using spectrometry, the only thing we can really grasp 100% is what the outer core of the sun is made out of.
Not even.
Outer core.
Okay.
Not even.
You mean the
Yeah,
cell?
bro.
He means the outer core. No, he is an idiot. He is an idiot and a moron.
Brenda,
So he thinks that there's an outer core.
instead of name calling, just explain just explain how spectroscopy, how
Never mind. Let him
how it works.
It's
Matrix,
like fifth
hold on.
grade. It's like
They
fifth
see
grade.
similar things, like similar
Spectroscopy.
colors, and they correlate that to be the same. That's where they're wrong. But
Branch was
Is
absolutely
anybody ready?
That's what I wanted. That's why I wanted Brenda to explain it. That's why I wanted Brenda to explain it.
Let Dr. Phil go.
And the fact
No.
the limb
I wanted you to
darkening
explain it.
sun actually suggests that the
why
inside
is
may be
it,
hot.
Brenda? Why is it, Brenda? Why is it that when we talk about the surface of the sun, to refer to as the outer core, why is that so wrong?
It's not referred to as
Because
the
he
outer
doesn't
core.
know
It's
shit.
referred to as the corona.
No, the corona is not the outer surface. The corona is the part outside
You're
the
making
surface.
a big ass deal about it, but did you understand what I meant?
Her ignorance is shining now.
Right. You know I'm fucking right. The only
Are we ready?
for spectrometry is basically what's being emitted to us.
Are we now
we
ready?
Don't know. We don't. It doesn't.
Hold
tell
on,
us
real
at all
quick.
Shut up.
the
Let him
fucking
go.
inside of the sun
I'm just gonna
actually
read
is.
something to back Branch
And that's
up.
only
Hold
if
on,
you're
Branch.
assuming
I'm
all
just
the
gonna read something to
spectrometry
back
stuff is
Branch
true.
up real quick. This is straight from Wiki. The core is made of hot. This is about the sun. The core is made of hot, dense plasma, ions and electrons at a pressure. Due to fusion, the composition of the solar plasma drops from 68 to 70% hydrogen by mass at the outer core. So clearly, the sun does have an outer core. And
Yeah, that would
Branch was
still
right.
be inside of the
You
sun.
got fucking debunked, bitch.
It's inside of the sun.
Brenda, I guess they don't what they
Ellen,
actually know.
Brenda, you're
Ellen,
wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
today.
Ellen. You should. Based on what Jeremy just said, you should suck my dick.
Oh,
Do you want to know how we know how the temperature of the sun or not?
you don't know. Holy shit! You
These
don't know.
these people
think
are
you
like
know. You just
2-year-olds.
see the
They
same
don't
thing.
want to know.
Yeah,
You know what?
exactly. You can teach anything to
2-year-olds that are
2 years
smarter
old.
than
You
you.
dummy.
Dr. Phil, you know it exactly how you know the size of. You know it exactly how you know the size of Venus. Exactly how you know the distance to the sun. That's how you know it. You guys made it the fuck up.
Let me say this, Brenda. You're right.
If you'd listen, I'd probably
Holy
explain it
shit,
to you.
Johnny!
Wasn't
Would
John,
you like
was
me to
Frank.
explain how we know the temperature of the sun?
If it involves
Not really.
spectroscopy, you're wrong. So go ahead.
Okay, it doesn't. Somebody mentioned black body radiation, and that person is spot on. So this is the way
Phil, real quick. My bad, go ahead.
we observe the distribution of the wavelengths, and the distribution of the wavelengths is proportional to the temperature. So if you put something, shut up. If you put something in the fire, like a piece of steel in the fire, if you put it there for a short bit of time, you'll notice that it'll start glowing. If you leave it there for longer, it glows more. If you leave it for even longer, it can even get to be white hot.
Okay. I have a follow-up question.
Hold on.
Shut up!
Basically, what you're trying to tell me, Professor
Shut
Phil,
up!
is that Brenda was wrong as fuck.
Shut up!
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
Is it Professor Phil?
Hold on.
Hold on. I have an important question.
My guess was
Shut up, please!
It's
I have not finished.
spectroscopy. Is it
I have
right?
not finished.
So please let us know when you're done.
Part of
Please.
I have not finished. Don't you understand?
Professor Phil, the only thing we really care about
Which
is
part
whether
of
Brenda
I
is
have not finished? Don't you understand?
Well, it must be the first part because I understood the last part that you're finished.
Right. Like you're literally like becoming somewhat
He's becoming
weird,
Johnny.
bro. Chill out.
Oh, that's because you are
No,
a
I'm
fucking
trying to
drunk.
talk to a
You're a
bunch of
fucking
educated
drunk
people.
who just constantly interrupts everybody.
Hey,
Brandon, don't be
Professor Phil. You know what?
mad
Bro?
because you got
I
debunked
do
5 minutes
appreciate.
ago.
I do
Relax.
appreciate you showing us how wrong Brenda actually was.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
That
got
was cool.
debunked big time, Brenda. Outer
Thanks,
court,
Phil.
son.
Hashtag
What's
thanks,
up now?
Right, Jeremy.
I don't know how that happened
And Phil,
because I didn't get to say much at all.
Hey, Professor Phil. You know what? You can just stop now because
you've
done your.
Listen. Just let him finish, because I have a follow-up question for him. Just let him finish and let us know, Phil, please, when you're done.
Good, thank you. Okay, so the amount of heat is proportional to how much glow you get, if you like. When you're looking at a piece of steel, you can see that if it glows red, it's a certain temperature. If it glows white hot, it's much hotter. It's kind of like that.
Hey, I need to
Distribution of
interject.
the
Hold on, Phil.
The distribution of the wavelengths, you just can't help yourself, can you?
Phil,
right
real quick,
Jeremy.
I need to ask guys.
Will you
With
pause?
the bar
You
of
have
metal,
a
you know
brain.
the medium
guys.
it's in.
Guys, please, I interrupted him. After
Percentage,
you
bro.
guys
That was
go.
what I was going to ask him. That's why I
Guys.
told you guys, let him finish, man.
He's saying, listen, he's saying you could tell the temperature or something by fucking the color of it. I could have a light bulb in my room.
I was going to ask him. Jeremy, I was going to ask him, is it relative to medium? And then I was going to make him confess. I was going to make him confess that they determined that on the earth. And how is it possible that they're going to determine the same chemical compositions in a...
Well, I think that's a good high point to end the show on. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Shout out to JQ for the donations tonight. Much appreciated. Will Gaston, Godzilla 37, Smurfer Girl, whatevs. Thank you very much. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to everybody who watched and participated in the chat, etc. And thank you to the panel, even though they can't hear me right now. We will see you back on Monday. And until then, have a good weekend. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.